at the end of our last session, we saw our intrepid heroes leave the Frozen Fang, the mountainous domain of ancient white dragon Thraxenhao, in an airship they had hastily constructed, fleeing with a number of refugees from the Sunset House. Not all of them. They were not able to save everybody, and in a valiant effort to allow the weaker, more infirm, and the young to leave the guild hall, many of the able-bodied monks of the Society of the Silver Sky actually stayed behind and took the fight to the army that was rushing the guild hall. So they left the bright area of the Sunset House and kind of rushed into the shadowy mist around it to prevent any kind of incursion from making it to the airship. Yes, Fox?
Does this include the mountain?
What do you mean?
Did he also go and fight with the monks, or did he stay
No,
on
the mountain
ship?
is with you.
Okay.
The mountain is with you.
Always.
I believe we established at the table that the mountain, Bradford Street, and Mockery all left on the airship. So it would be besides them. And Radford actually tried to stay behind, and Solfeniga told him, no, you need to leave and protect the others and whatever. And so Radford went back to the airship and left. However, on their way out, at the end of the last session, we watched Bruiser. Bruiser and Bradford Street, able-bodiedly manning the helm, or I guess badgering the helm of the airship, piloting it through the blizzard that permanently envelops the Frozen Fang, leaving the airship to safety. What we did not do was watch our founders, Jeb, Owlin, and Fox. And our founders actually leapt back off that airship and using either parachutes, ropes, or just diving because they're really cool that way, they actually navigated down the side of the mountain nearer to the ground level where Thraxenhao was. Thraxenhao, at the end of the previous session, this is a big deal, so I'm going to make sure to point this out. At the end of the last session, Thraxenhao died in exposition, and chat used GM Take That Back. And in doing so, chat may have saved the entire campaign.
This is true.
Because the reason the three founders stayed behind is because they need a Frozen Dragons tier to complete the Cataclysmic Ritual. The whole point of this quest that they've been on for 2 real-time years. They need a Frozen Dragon tier to do that. And by saving Thraxenhao, chat made that technically possible still. Unlikely, but possible. When we left Thraxenhao, that ancient white dragon was at the base of the mountain fighting the bulk of the army, those who were... So if we recall, at the base of the mountain, there is a ring of trees called the Darkwood that's really tightly packed together. So you can't get siege vehicles, you can't get larger creatures through there. And so individual entities were being sent up the mountain to attack. The bulk of the army is still at the base of the mountain. And that is why Thraxenhao flew down there and kind of took the fight to them. We saw him engaged in a fight with 3 basically dark dragons or shadow dragon creature type things. We're fairly confident that they are similar to the other shadow creatures. So they're not full dragons. They've been crafted from the energy of Limbo. But we haven't fought them, so we don't know that for sure. But anyway, we saw that happening. And we did not watch the founders. And so we begin today's adventure zoomed in on a tiny rock behind Thraxenhao, at the, on the mountain at like the top of the tree line, right? So he's an ancient white dragon. He's probably 90, 100 feet long. And he rears up on all fours. He's probably even taller than that, right? Or on his hind legs, he's taller than that. So somewhere behind him, as he's facing off with these 3 dragons, the army arrayed in front of him, glittering torchlight being lit now or by the orange glow of the sunrise as the night comes to a close. Off in the distance, a little airship sailing away, being piloted by Bruiser with Gunner on board. Behind that little rock, trying to figure out what to do, we see Owlin, Fox, and Jeb. I would love for the 3 of you to describe how you got here, what your cool hero entrance was to this moment, and take us into what that scene looked like.
Okay. So, without a doubt, right? Fox, when he went down this mountain, decided this is why I lost the leg, was for this moment right here. And so he starts sliding down the edge of the cliff face and puts his fake leg forward, which, as a reminder, has been customized and made as a blade, but as, obviously an awesome replaced leg. And
Wait, is Fox using it as a sled rudder?
yes.
Or
Let's go.
That's insane.
And it's just sliding down the mountain with this. Probably going to need a touch up.
Zooming
after
down the
this whole
mountain, ice
debacle.
chips, blasting you in the face as you kind of carve a little furrow
You're
in
just
the ice on the side of the mountain. Not enough to blind you or anything, but just kind of whipping past, knocking your hair in motion. Fox has a little bit of like a billowy red tunic, or at least he did last time we talked about what he wears, so it's probably getting kind of pushed back upwards, by the wind of his descent. As he's zooming down, Owlin, what is Owlin doing in parallel with this?
Owlin basically is trying to kind of do a similar thing, like kind of like skid down the mountain, as opposed to Fox looking really like cool, like skating down very sleekly, very awesome. Owlin is like kind of looks like an animal, like a bear trying to dig its claws into the mountain. Like Owlin's just trying to use raw strength to break his fall slowly as he goes down, but it comes across a lot more like just like brute strength, not very cool looking, but just practical. Like just like, oh, okay, grabbing onto this, like using this to break my fall over time. And then when he gets closer to, if there's ever any point where it feels like he's about to like take a little bit further down, like not really have as much contact with the mountain, he'll rage and use that to like kind of help keep any bludgeoning damage from hitting the mountain again.
Awesome.
From hurting him.
I'd like to imagine halfway down, a boulder rips in your hands, separate from the mountain, and you just start sliding that down.
I'm really curious at what point down the mountain, after having committed to this strategy, Alan remembers the sled he bought from Duffin.
So it fell off the side of the mountain when Jeb and Fox were getting there. Could he have found it and like?
Sure, yeah, he
it
lands
was
on
used
it
last time.
That's the boulder that he rips off the wall. Is as he's ripping that boulder, it dislodges the sled, and Alan can rage.
And then he's like, "All right, I'll grab it and
that's
slide
amazing."
the way down.
Okay, so
Blood
we've got Fox slicing his way down, using his leg as a rudder. We've got Owlin just like Hulk raging his way down, carving this huge hand-sized gash in the face of the mountain. What's Jeb doing?
So Radford. Is Radford with us, or am I just playing Jeb tonight?
I'm pretty sure we sent Radford with the airship, but I'll let you make the call. We only watched Bruiser at the end of the last session.
No, you're good. You're good. So Radford would have stayed. He would have respected that. Jeb is holding on to Fox just like by his collar. And it's just like flapping in the wind behind him, and he's just like in his mind, he's like holding his hat with one hand, holding the collar with the other, and he's just saying to himself, "When we go off the edge, we're gonna fly. Well, like I gotta save a spell slot, but if we go off the edge, we're gonna fly. We're gonna fly. Surely we're not gonna go the whole way down. Eventually, we're just gonna fly." And he's just like, "Oh snap! Oh snap! Oh snap! Oh snap! Oh snap!"
He lets go of his hat, and Mage Hand grabs it and plants it back on his head. That's amazing. So these three heroes are just zooming their way down the mountain. You finally come to it as controlled a stop as you can manage at the top of the Darkwood, the space where the trees kind of empty out into the more barren cliff face of the icy mountain itself. And so from this perch, you're able to observe the battlefield. And as we said, Thraxenhao is facing off against these three dark dragons. Arrayed in sort of a semicircle around them on the ground are a number of siege engines, tents from the army camp, other kinds of like soldiers and infantry, and one more of those huge cast iron 500 by 500 by 500 structures is kind of at the back of the army there. Fox has a hand up. What's up, bud?
Wow. The second you said my name, I just forgot it. It was very important. It was related. Oh, yeah. Wasn't the Dark Forest on fire?
Yes, the dark forest is totally on fire. You're above it. You're not in it. But yes, you're right. That forest is burning. Great ad. And so there's kind of like a haze of smoke wisping up around you and kind of obstructing your view. Not in such a way where you can't see what's going on, but definitely in such a way that you would have advantage on any kind of stealth checks you made from up here. And certainly with Thraxenhao right in front of you, nobody has seen the three of you. As cool as your entrance was, nobody was there to see it.
Oh.
Except for the chat.
Chat was
Except
there
for
to
chat.
see it.
All right.
I think it's great that we've gotten here, but I think we really need to consider what is the best strategy to actually gain a tier in this scenario.
I saved a spell slot. I didn't use fly.
Thraxenhao, who's been reared up on his hind legs, kind of roaring angrily at the dragons, drops to all fours and begins kind of crouching. He's ready for the pounce. As he does that, you hear the distant roll of thunder. The blizzard above is beginning to spread down the mountain, almost as if in Thraxenhao's rage, he's kind of losing control of the storm that surrounds the mountain. And so that blizzard is beginning to not only cease to ring the mountain. This is the first time maybe ever that people have been able to see to the peak of the Frozen Fang. It's beginning to spread, and we'll come back to that when we check in with Bruiser on the airship. But for the moment, what it means is that all of you begin to see hail fall. And it's
not this again.
where you are on the mountain, it's not hitting you, but where the soldiers and Thraxenhao are at the base of the mountain, they are like fully in the blast of hail. Thraxenhao seems completely unbothered. The shadowy dragons begin kind of pawing the ground a little bit and looking agitated, still kind of staring down. It's almost like in a Western where like everyone has frozen and they're waiting for the first move. As that is happening, Fox, with your perceptive, roguish eyes, especially with the convenience of having the dawn light coming up, and so there's almost like a shaft of light just going across the battlefield, illuminating all of the shiny armor and weapons and things like that for you, you notice that there are a number of humanoid creatures that are sneaking away from the army to the base of the fire on to the left and right, like to the base of the mountain, and they appear to be trying to flank Thraxenhao and make an approach from the left and right. There are 3 of them on each side. And as you're watching them, you notice they've got a number of larger ciphers with them, like devices that would need to be planted on the ground and then you would activate. You don't know exactly what they do, but they're, like kind of tripod shaped almost, where you spike it or impale it into the ground, and then there's some device on the top of it.
All right, guys. Listen, I'm not sure what our plan is here and how we're going to help a dragon fight 3 dragons, but I do know one thing. Some sneaky little are moving around, and we need to stop whatever's going on. I pointed out.
I need a couple minutes. Do we have a plan? Do we?
As you look at the battlefield in front of you, you're pretty sure that even if you did nothing, because those creatures are trying to flank Thraxenhao, like it's going to take probably 10 minutes for everyone to get in position and be kind of ready to, for battle to recommence. The dragons are still sizing each other up, and so you're kind of in that calm before the storm moment.
I mean, I think we need to stop at least one side from completing whatever.
I believe that the best thing that I can think of right now, we can't exactly approach Thraxenhao right now and say, hey, we need you to cry for us so we can have a little tear. We need to make sure that he survives this battle, and do what we can to aid him so that way we can get
maybe garner a favor from him.
Exactly. And so I agree with Fox. The best way to do that is to stop whatever these men are doing over here. And also, if what Fox you described is correct, then they may have some sort of siege weaponry that we can turn against them. Perhaps aim at the opposing forces. But yes, well, I think we have a couple minutes. If what you do, Jeb, takes about 5 minutes, then I think we're still okay on time.
I just need 1 minute.
Well, then yes, I think you're okay.
All right, I start scribbling in the ground.
Okay.
I can stop one person. I can turn one of us invisible, or I can do that either one of those a second time. But that's about it. All right. And other than that, in this situation, I don't think I could incapacitate somebody.
I mean,
if you could just do that for the whole army, that would be great.
Incapacitate them all.
I mean, we can all just do what we can. I know that we're kind of at the end of our ropes here, as far as we're very tired. We've been up for almost a whole 24 hours straight.
Okay. If
Is
we
it-
can figure out what one of those ciphers do, right?
Yes.
I think you're right. Maybe we can redirect it towards one of those shadowy dragon things.
Yes, I agree. I think that should be priority number one.
All right.
Although
well,
I would love to see what you're working on here, Jeb, as well.
This is a contingency. This is not to help. This is to keep everybody from dying.
All right.
This is like, because that out there, that's a lot. And I've been I was going to rack my brain all the way down the hill, or the mountain, but I didn't have much time to think about it. But
Well, I think what we should
that's-
do after you're done with that, we should immediately move on one of those groups.
As
is one side particular closer to us?
no, equidistant, because you're right behind Thraxenhao.
Okay.
As you are trying to decide what to do next, up in the air, piloting the airship through the finally clear skies on the other side of the blizzard, Bruiser is standing next to B Street, Bradford Street, and kind of showing him the ropes with the controls.
That is correct. And so, yeah, if you just pull this lever when this happens, that'll make the ship go this way.
So if I just go like that, whoa! I'm not touching. I didn't do it. Whatever that was, I didn't do it.
Easy. Everything, you got a small move.
Probably
small
they
movements.
bumped something. I think
No,
it
no,
was
it's okay. That's
okay.
why we're doing this.
All right. So if I just like this, it's
Yeah.
turning. It's turning.
Yeah, there
okay.
you go.
How do I go the other? I just turn the other way. It's going the other way.
Yeah.
That's so cool. He's got, his lumberjack axe is kind of slung across his back in a sort of weird, like almost like a sword scabbard that goes on your back that he's had to make it himself so that it fits between his wings, and it nestles properly. And then my phone rang. So anyway, so he
B Street, not while you're driving.
I know,
It's against the
B-Street.
law.
Don't do that while you're driving. So B Street is learning the controls. He says, "Okay, so why am I having to drive again? I feel like that storm is catching up to us." And sure enough, as you look backwards, the blizzard seems to be expanding. That you just wove through. Now it seems to be chasing you again.
So, these rods are very important, and it's important that I attune to it as, like, I guess as quickly as possible as to aid us in our future endeavors. And this is like the safest time I think I have to do it. And so if you are comfortable driving
I am
the
not
airship,
comfortable driving the airship in a blizzard.
you'll be fine.
I don't know.
Do you want me to get someone else?
Does anyone else know how to drive? I want you to drive it. You just did this.
I did, but I have to attune to this rod. I don't know how long it'll take. It could be 15 minutes. It could be 15 days. Who knows?
That's not encouraging. Where am I supposed to go? Where do I take how much fuel do we have on board? Does this thing have fuel?
I don't think it does. We just have the thrusters, but we're not like relying on them 100% of the time, so it should be fine. And we're dropping them off at Gaim.
But aren't we supposed to pick up your other guys somewhere?
Oh yes, we're rendezvousing with the Cypher truck.
I really don't know if I should be driving this.
Out of game, guys. We picked a rendezvous spot, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Totally.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Definitely.
100%.
Okay. So
Yeah.
It's you can just point at it on a map and then we'll
Yeah.
go there.
Yeah,
yeah.
that spot that
Yeah.
everyone agreed on and picked, right?
Yeah.
They're in
It's that one agreed spot that we all discussed ahead of time.
oh,
Yeah.
they're in Stonefield, right?
Right.
Right.
Sure,
That's
sure.
totally
Yeah.
where you picked, right? Yeah.
Are you sure it was
Yeah, we
Stonefield?
picked Stonefield.
Yeah.
I
they're
don't-
in-
Yeah.
That's
they're in
right.
Stonefield. If you have a look right here at the map there, I'm pretty
Guys.
sure you picked right down there in Stonefield. I think
Yeah,
I
just off the
remember.
Tumbleweb. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I remember you all talking
we
about
went
that.
through there. See, that was our previous rendezvous point where the Dragonelle came down and met Fox and Jeb. I mean,
Yeah.
that's where we rendezvoused. So that's the rendezvous point.
Right,
Yeah,
and
so
that's
we
which
just
is of course
assumed
why
that
you
when
chose
we-
it again.
Yeah, when we
Right.
said rendezvous point, we were just like, yeah, everyone knows it's Stonefield, so we
Yeah.
didn't feel
Yeah.
the need to say it.
Right. I was just
Yeah.
trying to help chat.
Stonefield
keep
is an
up.
anagram for rendezvous.
Yeah,
Everyone knows
actually,
that.
all the same letters are in there. And,
If you
yeah.
use Draconic,
Yeah, that's right.
it's ambigram and
So,
Draconic.
we're gonna rendezvous at Stonefield. So that is the direction we're heading. And
Which
I
direction
pull up-
is? How do I find it?
So I'll
Zero visibility.
There's visibility.
It's a
Um,
blizzard coming for us. What if the blizzard gets past us?
So part of the steering mechanism we have is a compass. So this will tell you which direction that you're going or not going.
This
Essentially,
direction's west. This
west.
direction's east.
Okay.
And so if we look at the map and see that Stonefield is southeast of Thraxenhao's domain, then we need to adjust the ship to be heading in that southeasterly direction.
Okay. So those are all words that you said, and I know what
Yes.
those words mean, but I don't know how to do them in a blizzard. As he says this, the ship begins shuddering as the blizzard begins kind of expanding over you. I'm going to add another tension die to the pool.
I'd like to imagine you're like, just head southeast, and if you look at the dial and the steering wheel, it's all measured in degrees. Like,
Alan's done it in the metric system or whatever. It's like,
yeah.
I mean, I guess it depends how strong the blizzard is. But it's the same thing whether you're in or outside of a blizzard. It just might be a little bit. You have to stay firm on the steering wheel longer, harder. Fight the blizzard.
how does one fight a blizzard? How am I supposed to do that?
Well, like if the wind is trying to push you off course, you just correct in the other direction.
Okay, see, that's another one where you're saying words that are correct, but I'm surrounded by like controls in an airship, and I don't like what I don't fly I don't even drive things.
Okay.
Here's your clutch.
So
Here's a reverse.
Guys, what's going on up here? Is everything okay? I heard some.
I can't.
Heard some.
I'm a
messing
little
around.
concerned that our one person who knows how to fly this thing is gonna just leave and like take a nap.
it's not a nap. It's very important business.
Oh, it
Is
is
it-
very important in
is it-
business. Are you working with Bradford here?
Yeah, I'm trying to show him how to come here, Radford. I think you'll also be able to help.
Okay. What's ooh, if I push that it goes to the side.
Yeah, there you go,
wait,
Radford.
I think that's too far, and it like begins listing. It's like we got to turn it back the
Bradford,
other way.
don't do that. Don't do that, Bradford.
Okay.
I didn't
I'll
didn't
walk-
do it.
I'll walk you guys through the controls again. So you see this lever here?
Yeah.
This controls left and right.
Bradford holds up his fingers.
Oh no,
Making it an L
Bradford's
shape.
intelligence is not high. It's not good.
And then this lever over here controls the pitch. So up and down.
The pitch, it's not singing.
Oh, it controls the up and down. Okay. Bradford like starts scratching in the wood like real like in draconic symbols of like up, down, left, like very
Yeah.
simple. Yeah.
And then you have
An
the
arrow.
thrusters.
Radford,
Thrusters
roll an
here,
intelligence save to see if he puts up and down in the correct order.
Oh no.
He rolled a 2.
He definitely labeled them backwards.
Okay.
And then
Does
this
Blizzard speak Draconic
No.
or no Draconic?
No.
Oh god.
And neither does
Okay.
Bradford, so neither of them knows.
No, I don't know Dragonic. And then this button here is thrusters, so this is how it will go up, and it'll give you a little bit of a boost.
I thought
forward,
this
too.
one was for up.
Well,
Right.
that controls like the back fins that will change the lift of,
Oh,
of
so
the
it
ship
tips.
using the wind.
Wait, so
Oh,
what?
tipsy.
What?
Like
so
me.
so if the why are there two ups?
One is more forceful, and one one is controlled up, like we force it to go up. The other one is controlled by the wind, and so if we're not going fast enough, it won't adjust it as much.
We got it. You just go ahead and
I
start
don't think
tuning.
we've got it.
It'll be fine.
I really
then-
don't.
It'll be fine.
I really don't
then
think it's gonna be fine.
And then I pull out the map. Okay, Radford, I know you can't read anything.
Oh, I know
here.
maps.
Yeah,
Believe you me.
we're trying to go here, and we're here right now.
Okay.
So, we need to go like southeast, but more east than south.
I just
From-
wanted
Okay.
to know, for the audio listeners right now, that made it seem like you missed something when he said we're here and we need to go here. I want you to know the map flashed on screen, but there was no indications of either of those
No.
things, and so
Well, I would've
visuals
pointed-
just as lost as the audio.
I will say that I appreciate the fact that Trevor said here and here, which means that Bruiser pointed to the map
Yes.
as opposed to saying the word Stonefield, which Radford cannot read in common on the map. So
Yeah.
he knows the point. This is a good thing.
This is important. True.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, got it. We're on
Um,
here. He like scratches. Okay, we'll mark it here. Okay, we're going this way, and we're facing which way are we?
We're currently
heading on the
heading
map right
in,
now.
We're heading in the right direction. We've probably been driving for what, like 15 minutes, if that.
Okay, so there's the sun. We'll keep the sun there,
Well,
and
the
got
sun
it.
is gonna move. We need to stay on the same course.
No, I mean, in relationship. Don't worry about it. I got it.
I don't
you
think
sure?
we.
I
know
I
how to
really am not
navigate
confident
outside.
that we have it, man. I don't.
I think between the two of you, you got this.
What's the
It's
worst
just
that's
like
gonna
traveling
happen?
the countryside, but faster and a billion feet in the air. It's fine.
As
You
the
take a
blizzard
left
finally
turn, it's
reaches the
fine.
back edge of the airship and like for real, hail begins thundering on the deck and the roof of the little the cockpit that Alan constructed. That like icy lens, hail is just kind of shearing off it onto the into the sides.
Well, I can't see the sun anymore, so Okay.
This compass here will tell you what direction you're going. If you
so
see
keep
that,
it on that little number there.
yeah.
Keep it on that one.
I think that's
Okay.
a letter.
Okay, Mr. Smarty Pants. See, with both of our skills combined, we got it. We got it. It's fine.
I think if it takes two of us to read the compass, then probably we don't got it.
No, that's why there are two of you.
To read the compass?
Can I make a persuasion check with Bradford?
Sure. What are you trying to persuade him of?
I'm not trying to like convince him of
This.
anything. I'm trying to like talk some confidence into him.
Oh, I see. Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, tell him we got this.
Now listen here. We might not be able to do this. If I'm being completely honest.
That's
But
what
we
I've been
need
saying.
to. But we need to. Everybody's relying on us. It is of the utmost importance that Bruiser attunes to this rod. He needs us. Everybody needs us. This is our moment. And you can't do it alone, and I can't do it alone. We gotta do it together. Okay? So if you're like, hey, I don't know what that thing is, now's the time to ask questions. Now's the time to write things down. See, I already wrote up and down there because I knew that I would forget. But later, that's going to be important, and I'm going to know what thing to push on that time.
Can
Okay?
I ask a clarifying question here? Did Radford, when he said up and down, did he point respectively to where he wrote up and down?
I think he just
Yeah.
gestured in the direction. Oh, okay. He did point at it. That's fine.
Oh,
Okay.
Bradford, you have those flipped. This is up, this is down.
Oh, okay. And then he like scratches it out. Other up, other down.
That instills
Okay.
confidence.
Yeah, really.
This is progress. We're learning. So you need to do the same thing. Got to tighten it up, man. Okay? Tighten it up.
Okay, fine. Bruiser, one more time. Tell me what every button does, and then we're gonna do this.
Yes, I will do that.
And you know what that means? It means it's story time at the Wing Badger Tavern, and we will be right back.
Zanir, Gaunteus, Kotex, Awara, Long ago, the four ancients created a world in harmony. Then, everything changed when the chat amped magic. Only Kelnor, master of good vibes, could stop them, but when the world needed him most, he vanished. 2 years have passed, and four adventurers have discovered a conspiracy, a company selling magic. And although their roleplay is great, they have a lot of XP to earn before they're ready to save anyone. But I believe they can save the world.
Welcome back to the Wing Badger Tavern, where we've already got 4 dice in the dice pool. What could possibly go wrong? Let's meet the adventurers in tonight's Dungeons & Dragons session.
Hello, I am Jake, and I play Alan Woodrear, the Azamar Barbarian Artificer, and I believe I will be pretty much playing him all of tonight. Gunnar, the Demolition Expert Hematetian Rogue, may show up a little bit, but he's a little worse for wear right now, so he's probably resting.
And hello, I am Cleo. I will be playing Fox, and just Fox, the rogue bard changeling, with the prosthetic leg. And you know what? Everything's gonna go great. There's no potential problems in our future.
Hello, I am Trevor. I am playing Bruiser, the Winged Badger Inquisitive Rogue, who has full confidence in his flying companions.
And hello, I'm Wash. I play Jebediah Peppermint, the molefolk gun wizard who spits fire and fires spit. And Radford the White, Dragonborn, monk, totally intelligent, can fly anything, totally reads common, has an intelligence of like 26. It's fine. It's gonna be fine.
And I'm Josh, your Wing Badger Game Master, and my camera died a little while ago. Or maybe the
Rip
HDMI
the
cable
camera.
did, but for whatever reason, I don't have a camera tonight. So I am the
Ominous
faceless
voice
yeah,
from above.
the faceless narrator of the story here this evening. Let's jump back into tonight's Dungeons & Dragons adventure, and we're going to jump back in with Fox, Owlin, and Jeb, who are standing at the top of a burning forest looking down at a fight getting ready to roll. Jeb has taken some time to etch something into the ground, perhaps an arcane circle, it looked like, or it sounded like you were maybe doing.
Yeah, he was scratching some. You guys haven't seen him do this before, but he's not using his blunderbuss. He's scratching like a big circle. It's about 10 feet in diameter into the snow. And like when Fox like comes by to like what's going on, he's like, "Hey, get up! You're gonna mess it up. Don't stand there." And so, and then he like starts like tiptoeing like through it to make like these runes around the edges. And then at the last second, he jabs the blunderbuss down into the center of it, and it sucks all of the snow and the symbols and everything up into it, and bloop, drops out a little gray bead. And he takes that and he puts it in his pocket. He's like, "This is for later. This is in case. This is for when things go sideways and everybody could die, and it will stop that from happening. So long as we stay together."
One.
Yeah. Believe me, I've had a lot of time to think, hey, this would have been nice to have at this certain point in time. So now we've got it.
You know, speaking of which, I think now's the time we need. I've been thinking about the lefties. The righties, I don't know. They look like they're a little slower. But the lefties look like they have it together. So they're the ones I think that we need to take out.
I think we take care of them, and then if we can, we immediately move over to the other side and take care of them as well. I have, as far as ranged weapons goes, as far as getting the jump on them as soon as we can, I have my rifle of ice knife, essentially.
Oh, nice. Yeah, you got that working.
Nice knife.
Nice knife. Yes, I did. I was able to repair it. And other than that, I'm not exactly the stealthiest. But if there are a way for us to, I can still try to sneak up and get to a certain point.
Listen, this is a classic raccoon plan. Very simple. All right. I'm going to get as close as I can while you all sit. You see that little point right there where it's like just above them, but out of reach in sight? Y'all are going to prepare there because you both have ranged things, right?
Yes.
Your signal is either when they find me or something happens that involves me.
Okay.
So just when shit starts hitting the fan, that's your signal.
And I will
All right,
say,
when you
as long as you take a high ground vantage point, like what Fox is describing, you'll have advantage on any attacks on people lower on the battlefield than you. On your
Okay.
ranged attacks, I should say.
Okay, so when you get in contact with the enemy and start pooping yourself all over the place, that's when we start firing. Got it.
Specifically on a multi-bladed rotational thing called a fan, yes.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Let us do that.
All right. And Fox immediately is going to go for the stealth roll with the dice that I totally thought was at the table and is not. So
Okay, Fox is going to roll his stealth, and meanwhile, we're going to jump over to Bruiser, who is sitting on the airship somewhere. You've probably gone to like a private room, I'm assuming, to do your attunement.
Yeah, private room and also like a seat with straps so he doesn't just have his body rolling around a room as the airship moves around.
Okay. Yeah, so he like straps in maybe somewhere in the cargo hold. There aren't really any private like dormitory type rooms because the ship is over full.
We didn't prioritize that, yeah.
No.
But there is still like a storage area with some food and some, supplies to keep the ship flying, a little bit of maintenance tools and whatever. And so he goes down there and kind of straps himself in with the other cargo. And you hold in your hand a rod about 1 foot long, or 1 shin long, as Jeb would describe if he were with you, of carven ivory. And as you look at it, you see that there are some runes carved into the sides, but they keep flickering. They won't come into focus for you. They're no language you've heard. They're no, it's not like some series of hieroglyphics where they're just little pictograms that make sense. They just keep kind of flickering and blurring in place. So it's a series of 6 runes, but the 6 runes keep changing and unfocusing and moving around. And as you are kind of sitting there and contemplating the runes, you suddenly you kind of feel like a sense of vertigo, like you need to steady yourself.
Whoa. Can I make a dex check?
You sure can. Why don't you make a dexterity save to steady yourself?
That is a 25.
A 25 is a success, and it's going to bring you into the attunement process, as I do with every character. I'm going to make a couple things plain to you. The stakes are real when you're attuning to the rod. There is the chance that your character may die or be forever altered by the consequences of a failed attunement. Your attunement to this rod, the rod of dexterity, will be based on your ability to demonstrate a thorough understanding of the ability score that is dexterity. You will have the opportunity to challenge, interrupt whatever insert rolls into the attunement process. If you don't, time is just going to continue like draining on. I'm not going to call for rolls except for maybe very rarely. You are going to interrupt me with the skill you want to use. And obviously, the more dexterity uses you get, the higher your chances of attuning properly are, since this one is the rod of dexterity. Your failures will have a cost. We've not identified what the cost is for the rod of dexterity, but with the rod of intelligence, it was time. With the rod of luck, it was sight and perception. So whatever the cost will be, like your failures have some sort of real and long-term cost. Knowing all these things, do you want to continue as the player, Trevor? Do you want to continue into the attunement like puzzle for the rod of dexterity? He does. And so you find yourself, you steady yourself just in time as the ledge in front of you, you almost kind of slip over it. You steady yourself. You are standing at the edge of a cliff, and in front of you is a great slope. It's not a straight down cliff. It's probably like maybe a 5 or a 10 degree angle going down from you. You look around and you see behind you there is a small motorcycle sitting there on the ground. It's laying down on the ground, waiting for you to do anything. I'm going to add a tension die to the pool for the passage of time.
Bruiser will fly up to the motorcycle and just smile with glee, and he's like, "I'm ready," and puts his goggles on, revs it up, and starts riding down.
Okay, I would like Bruiser to roll a dexterity save as he turns on a motorcycle, having done no kind of safety check or anything with the material on it, to see if he can keep the thing running.
16.
16. Bruiser, you are barely able to catch the bolt that flies off the side of the engine as you rev it up. You kick the thing into gear. You know how to drive a motorcycle. You didn't necessarily check this one very well, and so as a bolt flies out the side, you actually catch it with one hand. The motorcycle grinds to a halt. I'm going to add a tension die to the pool for the passage of time. I'm going to add a tension die to the pool for the passage of time.
I would like to use a, I guess, dex check to put the bolt back on.
Sure, make a dexterity vehicle repair kit check. That's a thing you're proficient with, and luckily you find one there laying on the ground nearby. I'm going to clear the tension pool because we hit 6.
That is a non-natural 20.
Non-natural 20. Very successful attunement, 3 complications incoming. Or not attunement, very successful repair. You get everything tightened down, properly ready, and you know at this point the bike is ready to roll. You rev that engine and you feel it come to life. What will you do?
He's going to ride it probably down the mountain, it looks like is where I'm supposed to go. And
Okay.
he's going to pop a wheelie and do an acrobatics check.
Okay. You pop a wheelie and you're going to do an acrobatics check to take that bike down the mountain. Exceptional. Go ahead and roll for me.
Not good. 7.
A 7. Okay. You pop a wheelie, and normally, under ordinary circumstances, you would probably have been fine. Unfortunately, as you drove over the edge, you realized that the noise of the engine thundering to life and revving has actually dislodged a little bit of an avalanche behind you. And as the rocks fly down the mountain towards you, creating a bit of a rock slide or an avalanche moving in your direction, the bike begins swaying and swerving. The wheels are getting bopped, and it kind of flips out from underneath of you. You take 1d10 hit points of damage. Jake, why don't you roll that for us while we continue the attunement challenge here?
Could I roll a dex save to get it back on track?
Sure. Roll a dexterity save at disadvantage just because the complication is knocking the wheels out from underneath you.
And damage.
10 damage. You take
Okay.
10 points of damage as well.
23 on the check.
23 on the check. You take 10 points of damage as the bike leans almost completely sideways and your arm drags along the mountain, but you're able to kind of flare your wings in such a way where you catch the air and kick the bike back into position, and you even use the flaring of your wings to get it back into the wheelie as you're revving down the side of the mountain. You now see kind of emerging out of the distance way down there, the path you're on is going to curve into a jump out over the distance ahead of you, although you can't quite see where the jump is going to end. I'm going to add a tension die to the pool for the passage of time.
Is it a banked turn?
No, it's not a bank turn. It's like the ramp is curving up, like it's turning into a jump.
Okay. So he's going to make sure he maintains speed and I guess use an acrobatics check for the jump.
Okay. Roll a dexterity survival check to keep the bike at speed. And go ahead and roll your acrobatics check for the jump.
That's gonna be an 11 on the survival check, dexterity survival check.
Okay.
And for the acrobatics, it's gonna be a 19.
A 19. You lose a little bit of speed, but you are able to at least get yourself lined up properly for the jump. And as the bike zooms into the air, we cut back down to where Fox has been stealthily navigating through the Darkwood, trying to get into position to attack some of the soldiers who are going after your ancient white dragon friend, Thraxenhao.
Alan also got a 15 on stealth to get to the outcropping where he's going to snipe from.
Excellent.
And Fox got a non-nat 20.
Oh, yeah. So Fox is sneaking down through the woods, and as far as you know, nobody has seen you. I've rolled a check for them here, but I didn't do that one publicly since we don't want to know. You are making your way through the Darkwood. Is your goal to get straight up to them? Like, are you just trying to go for a sneak attack pretty much?
I'm trying to get closer. Eventually, I will go to take someone out, but at the moment, I'm just going to get as close as I can and try to maybe probe to see where the weakness in their defense is, the closest I could get perhaps to the cipher thing they're setting up.
Okay.
I will roll maybe a perception for that.
Yeah, you could roll a perception, a survival, or an insight I would accept for that. And you do navigate close enough to where you can see that they're not actually going the whole way to Thraxenhao. They've stopped maybe 100 feet away, and you went for the lefties, I think. So
yes.
They're 100 feet to the left of Thraxenhao. Thraxenhao still in kind of a ready position, eyeing the other dragons, snapping at the air a little bit. It looks like he might have even engaged them in dialogue. He's talking a little bit about, this is his domain and they're not welcome and they've made a big mistake. And, he's giving them a chance to flee dishonorably before he destroys them, is pretty much what he's up to with these 3 shadow dragons. At the same time, you have gotten into position. And as you're closer up now, how did you roll on your analysis?
I got a 16 on perception.
Okay. With a 16 on perception, you can tell that 2 of the soldiers are very focused on their work with the cipher. So only one of them is really looking around, or they're pretty convinced that they're stealthing, and so they're mostly focused on getting whatever this cipher is prepared. And as they're anchoring it to the ground, you can see that it almost looks like a large slingshot. Where it has the 3 spiked legs, like a tripod that you'd stab into the ground.
Right.
And then on the top of it, there's kind of a brace, like a U-shaped brace with a cable between it. And you can see that the cipher itself is in the base of that U-shaped brace. So it'd be like at the center point of the U, where the curve kind of rounds off, is where you would input the Wingle digits to activate this cipher. The other thing that I'm going to note for you is just that what these creatures are, because although they are humanoids, from up close and not obscured by the smoke, you can see that they are by no means human. They are small-ish creatures. They're a little bit taller than Bruiser or Jeb, and they have little hooked wings that almost remind you of like the wings of a bat. They have glowing green eyes, and they have horns that protrude forwards from their face. They walk almost hunched over in the way like a velociraptor might, like where it's almost like their legs are half designed for running on all fours, but they've found a way to walk upright. And while they have hands, like they have thumbs, they are very heavily clawed, almost like talons coming out of the end of their fingers.
Okay. This sounds almost like imps.
You can roll a survival or a nature check to identify them if you want to.
I am going to roll a check.
Okay.
And it will not be nature. It will be survival.
Okay.
And it will be a 14.
A 14. You are not confident in your assessment, but you do remember at some point in the past, Radford talking about some of the like corrupt variations on those with draconic heritage. And you remember him talking about something called the Draconians, who they're a race of creatures that are born from dragon eggs but don't wind up dragons. They're either corrupted or otherwise purified or interrupted by magic on the outside of the egg, and it kind of shapes what they become. These look to be very deliberately corrupted, whatever these creatures are. And even the way they talk to each other as you get close enough to hear them communicating is like a sort of high-pitched chattering noise.
Okay. And how many are there?
There are 3 of them here. 2 of them, again, are working on getting the machine anchored or the cipher anchored, and the 3rd is keeping watch.
Okay, how far away is the 3rd from the 2?
He's still right next to them. Like, they're in a group, but one of them is kind of looking around, keeping watch.
Okay. In that case, I'm going to toss a stone to the left of them, probably about 20, 30 feet away from them. Cause a distraction. I'll roll maybe like a dex check on that?
To cause a distraction with the stone, roll deception.
Deception. Okay, that makes sense. I got an 18.
Okay. The lookout immediately, and he kind of scampers off. He does drop to all fours, and he scampers forwards. And you can see as he runs, he flares his wings out, and they have that little like taloned, like the little talon point that bat wings have, and his are dripping some kind of greenish purplish liquid as he's scampering off into wherever you toss the stone. You get the idea that there's probably some poison in those talons or in those spikes.
Gotcha.
And he kind of scampers off.
Move speed roughly, like I'm gonna guess 30 feet.
He
round?
actually is moving a little bit faster than you've seen some of your other companions run. You would guess probably around 40 feet.
Oh, okay. Did the other 2 stop what they're doing?
No, they're still working, and it looks like they're getting pretty close to done. They're at the point where they're walking around and like checking that cables are secure and like, kind of kicking the legs to make sure they're anchored into the ground heavily.
All right. While they're doing that, I will roll a stealth check to sneak up on one of them.
Okay. And Alan and Jeb, you are able to observe this happening. So just if you want to enter at any point in time, you can see what's going on.
About how far away are they right now?
They're probably 50, 60 feet from you,
Okay.
assuming you're straight up. The darkwood is burning,
Yeah.
so the top layer of trees are slowly becoming ash and kind of falling and collapsing, and it's been burning for a lot of the night. So, the top tier of the woods here is probably closer to like embers and ashes. And so as you move down through the smoke to get a clearer vantage point, I would say probably 50, 60 feet above them, something like that.
Alan will prepare an action to fire his rifle at the one of the ones that Fox is not sneaking up on, but he's going to fire as soon as Fox takes an action, like takes an attack.
Cool.
And I would say, given the fact that I've distracted them, and we have the jump on them, would you say I have advantage on this stealth check?
Sure. Yeah. I would say between that and the haze of smoke that's drifting over the battlefield and their occupation with their
done
work
before, yeah,
and the
that was
dragon, yes, I would give you advantage on that.
Okay, good. Not for any particular reason I asked that. 29 versus the nat 1 I rolled before I asked if I had advantage.
29.
Ouch.
You are able to successfully sneak up on one of them. So they are back to back, facing away from Thraxenhao, checking the final like buckles on the straps of their machine. The one that you distracted
I'm coming up
is
in between them, right?
Yeah, and the one that you distracted is beyond you. So it's run into the woods, away from you, basically. It's probably only a few seconds before that one comes back. But, in round order, it's only been 5 seconds or 6 seconds since you threw that stone.
Gotcha. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and sweep my leg under the one I snuck up on.
Okay.
And as I do so, my leg will transform into the sword. And because he's like kind of shorter, I'm probably like sweeping at his waist height.
Okay. So it's just like basically a big roundhouse kick, and as you do that, like the sword blade kind of pops out of your mechanical leg and like shing.
Exactly.
Awesome.
And Alan will fire the rifle
Yep,
of ice
both
knife.
of you roll to hit for me.
21 to hit.
21 is a successful hit.
17 to hit.
Also a successful hit. So you hit both of these two draconians. Go ahead and roll damage for me, both of you.
What is the difference? What is the distance between this draconian? So, okay. What is within 5 feet of the draconian that I hit?
Only Fox.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because
Fox,
they're on
you're gonna have
opposite
to
sides
make a
of the
saving
machine,
throw.
so Fox is between them.
Fox, you're going to have to
That's
make
fine.
a saving throw. Sorry.
fine.
Fox is
Make
like,
a
I got
dex
saves.
saving throw. Yeah, make a dex saving throw when you can, Fox. And then this
Shoulda
guy is
did
also
that too,
going
Alan.
to.
I'm sorry.
One.
It's all right.
Okay,
second,
and
I'm
for
doing
his
math.
save, you said Dex, Alan?
Yes.
Okay, that's a 15.
Okay, what's my spell save? Sorry. Attacker wins in a tie. Ha 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 ha. He did not make it.
Nice.
So I will roll. So he only took 1 piercing damage, but he is going to take... I'm rolling terrible on damage. No, I'm not. 9 cold damage.
9 cold damage. Okay.
And
You,
Fox,
for-
what's your save?
I got 18.
Okay, that's a save.
that 18 passes.
Do you take half damage or no damage because you're
He's a rogue.
stuff?
No damage.
Okay, great, cool.
Fox, tell me about the other one.
The other one I did 29 damage.
The other one dies. So you cut it in half as you kick through it, and then you make a Constitution save. As you cut it in half, a kind of like a spray of purplish liquid comes out where you would have expected blood to come out of the cut, and it splashes across, some of your torso and your arm.
All right, that's 11.
Okay, that's an 11. So you are unfortunately poisoned for 1 turn, which is disadvantage on attacks and ability saves or ability rolls.
Okay.
Next to you, as you make this kill, next to you, you see a shing a little basically like bolt of ice, or a little kind of, it almost looks like a stalactite, lances into the other draconian, and he is knocked kind of to the side. He is the condition surprised for the rest of this round. The third one that ran off into the woods spins around, and you can see it, like, it makes eye contact with you, and its green eyes kind of lighting up in the smoke as it flares its wings and its teeth and launches forwards. It's going to dash towards you using its fly and try to
Can I
tackle
shoot
you. Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, Jeb.
22 to hit.
22 is a successful hit.
With a scorching ray, Jeb's gonna pull out Big Boy and do like a long range sniper shot with it.
Awesome. There's no
That's
save,
not
right?
scorching
That's
ray
like,
firebolt. No, he hits it. It's 22 to hit, and he's gonna take some.
yeah, I meant for
Really
half
takes
damage,
some
but that
fire.
didn't make any sense. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
No. That's 16 fire damage.
As this so he leaps out of the woods and zooms towards you, and then this bolt of fire comes down from the side and a little bit above and lances into him, knocks him to the ground. So as he's diving towards you, instead of flying, now he's kind of skidding across the ground, his little talons scrabbling for purchase on the ground, and you can see like a little bit of smoke coming off of him as the scorching ray wears off. He is very significantly burned, and it looks like maybe a little bit of that kind of purplish blood has been drawn, but he is still preparing to attack you. He's going to use the move action of his turn to get the rest of the distance to Fox, and he's going to go for just like his one attack that he can make this round. So he's going to roll to hit.
That DM roll though.
Yeah, that is 18 before his mods.
He hits.
Okay, so he does hit you, and he hits you for, you take 5 damage as
Unless
he...
his mods were negative.
What's up?
Unless his mods were negative.
Well, yeah. You take 5 piercing damage, and you take 7 poison damage. You don't need to make another throw on this. It's just that kind of damage as he kind of slices you up with his talon. And that will bring us to, in quote unquote initiative order, Fox's turn.
Okay.
So you've got a weak one on both sides of you. They both look pretty much ready to die.
Right. Well, one of them surprised, right? So
Yes.
Does that mean when it comes to his turn, he's not going to make a turn, or
Yes.
was that already?
He will take
Okay.
no actions and no moves this turn.
I'm going to deal with the one that's a threat then.
Yeah.
I'm also going to go for a kick. Now that he's within range,
Perfect.
and that is.
Remember your disadvantage from the
20.
poisoning.
Oh, right.
Do a murder
about a
and
20
then another
something?
bonus action murder.
So it's still a 20 something?
No, now it's an 11.
Oh, so your 11 is not enough to hit him. He swipes at you. You go for the kick, and he leans backwards. And he almost like bends like where your spine shouldn't bend to dodge it, like a matrix dodge, you know? He like leans backwards away from it, and that's how he dodges your attack. He comes back up to his ready stance and kind of skitters at you.
I'm going to disengage, and is the surprised one on the ground?
No, the surprised one is like regaining its feet, basically. It stumbled but didn't fall over.
All right, I'm going to disengage from him and get behind the surprised one and hold him at knife point.
Okay. As you do that, one of the burning trees begins plummeting towards you at the base of the wood. It just falls and kind of echoes on the ground. We're going to make some dexterity saves for... Here's the one...
Me
That's a
included.
nat 1. He gets hit. The one that just dodged your kick gets hit by a falling tree as he kind of, focuses in on you.
That was intentional. That attack was just a ruse to get him to not be in the
I
right
think
spot.
that one's on the line, but I'm going to call it the 20. So the other one does not get hit by the tree. Even as you're holding it, it's like it takes advantage of your great dexterity. And so as you jump out of the way, it uses that momentum to keep itself out of the way of the tree. Unfortunately, because that's still a villain nat 20, it does not land on the apparatus they're setting up. So
Gotcha.
whatever that thing is still in place. And that makes it Owlin and or Jeb if they want to do anything.
Alan will is the one that got hit by a tree dead?
Yes.
Oh,
Or at
okay.
least it is underneath a tree that's on fire and not moving.
Okay, well then, Alan. Oh, here's what Alan can do. Aha. Action economy. I'm thinking more about action economy now that I'm playing Baldur's Gate 3. Alan can dash to the enemy because if we were within 60 feet with Alan's move speed, he can dash to the enemy that Fox is holding at knife point, and then use his bonus action Scimitar of Speed attack to slice at that.
The forest is going to be difficult terrain, so your dash is only going to be 30 feet.
Well, it's going to be 40 feet because I have a 40-foot speed.
Okay, yeah, then it'll be 40 feet.
Well, shoot,
So-
then. Why didn't you say so?
Well,
That's
no
fine.
one had tried to dash through it yet, but it's a tightly packed wood that's on fire.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, then at that point, he's not going to rifle of ice knife because he could hit Fox.
Take
So-
the shot.
Well, wait, if he gets 40 feet, he's within 20. Oh, no, that's still not enough. Okay, well, then Alan will get there and look menacingly at.
So
oh,
he's-
can he intimidate? He's gonna go 40 feet, and he's intentionally trying to look like very like he's charging,
The
looking
wings
very
fly
like
out.
Yeah.
animalistic.
Okay,
with the,
so
yeah, he's,
so here's
yeah,
what I need
he's-
from the other players. I need you to decide if it's an advantage to Alan's intimidation that he's going to be emerging from the smoky forest, or if it's a disadvantage to his intimidation that he may not be visible or he might be obscured by the smoky burning forest.
Hey, I think either way, it's an advantage because if you think about this lumbering thing coming out, whether or not you can see it fully, or even worse, you can't, and now your imagination is making up whatever the thing.
Oh, just
coming
like the
out of
loud
smoke is.
footsteps and the
Yeah.
crushing tree branches
Yeah,
and
well,
stuff.
Depends.
That-
Is
if-
Alan
if there's, like-
coughing from the smoke?
No, if Alan coughs, it sounds like crackling thunder because he's a Storm Herald barbarian.
yeah. I think I'm with Cleo on this one. I think
Yeah,
that,
I'm with Cleo.
that
I think you're right. Yeah.
the woods are casting enough light, and with the fog there, that when Alan emerges or is in the fog, it's just like this big black outline of this roaring,
Yeah.
huge creature that's
Spectral wings and all. Love it.
yeah. Mhm.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, go ahead and roll with
Alan
advantage.
Got a 22 on intimidation.
I mean, I'll give him a roll, I guess. Oh, he's a courageous little dude. Not quite courageous enough, though.
Not
He-
enough for a 22.
Yeah. With an 18, he still, as he sees the form of Owlin appear in the woods, he almost forgets that he's struggling against Fox, and he kind of goes limp and like.
That's the goal.
Jeb, do you want to do anything?
I'm gonna message Fox real quick and be like, "Are we killing it, or are we getting information out of it?"
Do you know how to speak Draconic?
No, but Owlin knows languages or something.
I'm gonna
Intimidating.
yell at Alan, or I guess not yell, but like he's within range now. I'm like, Alan, do you know Draconic?
Yeah, I literally know every language right now because of this thing. And he like taps at the rod.
Very, very much undercutting the intimidation.
Oh,
hey,
yes,
buddy,
actually,
do
I
you speak
do.
Draconic?
All right, I'm gonna take advantage of. I'm assuming we're out of combat initiative, but
Yeah, I mean, you've got him restrained, and he's no longer fighting back.
all right, I'm gonna tell him like, hey, little guy, you understand common? And I press the knife up to his throat.
The dragon, or the draconian, I should say, it kind of like chatters a little bit, but it doesn't respond. It just looks very scared. Like, it's trying to make itself seem non-threatening. It doesn't want you to think it's attacking, but it can't speak to you. Like, it doesn't know common.
Okay, Alan, your turn. And feel free to like vamp this. Like really.
As Alan
Really bring on
approaches,
the
as Alan
intimidation.
approaches, he sees the contraption, and for a moment, you think he's going to get distracted by the contraption and just look at it and try to figure out what it does instead of intimidating the draconian. And he goes, yes, of course." And then Alan will go up to the draconian, put a hand on its shoulder, and I think it's okay to burn a rage. I'm a high level barbarian now. I can rage a lot.
Do you
Alan will
actually
burn-
speak Draconic?
Let's see. No, Celestial and Common is what he can.
No.
Okay,
actually
so the
speak.
rod
He
only
can?
comprehends languages, so you can understand him, but you can't speak to him.
Unless he
Oh,
understands common.
unless he understands Common, which
Fair.
Alan will actually no, he's not going to burn a rage at first. He'll just like look intimidating, like put a hand on the shoulder and like get face really close and say, "Do you understand me? Do you understand what we're saying?"
Don't hurt me, man! Don't hurt me!
And is that in Draconic?
No, well, that's just
From what
yeah.
Alan
It's
can
in
hear?
Draconic. It's the comprehend languages that's
Okay,
helping you
okay.
understand it.
Alan will turn back to everyone else like, I have realized a flaw in what we're trying to do. I can understand it, but it cannot understand me.
I'm sorry, can I paint a word picture very briefly of what's just happened? So Owlin standing in the woods angry has terrified this poor creature, and then Fox undercuts it by going, "Oh, hey buddy, do you speak Draconic?" The creature watches as Owlin, again angry and terrifying, lumbers out of the woods, briefly gets distracted looking at the contraption. "Oh, I wonder what this thing does." His rage ends, his spectral wings go away. He turns back, his head whip pans over. Oh, he gets all intimidating again, walks up, grunts something indistinguishable and puts a hand on the creature's shoulder, and then turns around and starts talking to his companions again.
So this is to
Seems legit.
illustrate, this is the nature of Owlin. These are the two sides of Owlin that exist.
The yin and the yang, if you will.
Exactly.
All right.
The duality of Alan.
I'm gonna wink at Alan and be like, "Don't worry, I got this." And
Uh,
I'm gonna like turn this draconic being towards the contraption. I'm gonna hold the knife up to his throat. I'm gonna point at it. I'm gonna yell. I'm just like, "What does it do?" I'm gonna point at various parts of it, and I point at him like,
Roll performance with disadvantage because he's terrified.
Can Alan assist in trying to like I don't know if this would help.
Alan's got like two fingers up, like 2 words. What do?
No, not charade style, but Alan will like also point at it, but then like put his hands on his hips and try to look intimidating
Like Dad.
again.
Alan,
"I'm
Dad is
disappointed in
angry.
you." 21
21 with disadvantage, dang.
with disadvantage.
Between Owlin's helpful dad hips and your gestures trying to get across what happens, the creature very tentatively slowly and non-threateningly pushes Fox's knife away from his throat and kind of scampers up to the machine, like not trying to run away, it's trying to show you what it does.
Right.
Goes behind the machine, and it grabs the cable in one hand and kind of pulls it back just a little bit, but you can see that when it lets go, like there's a lot of tension on the cable itself. And then it kind of its little claws scrabble over where the wingle digits go in the cipher, and then it pulls the cable back a little bit further and lets go. And you can see, you can see the cable just sproing forwards, and it pulls a little bit further.
Okay. And I'm going to point at him with the knife. And then I'm going to point at one of the shadow creatures with a knife. I'm going to point back to him and point back to the shadow creature, point at the cipher, point at him. I'm just going to point at these 3 things threateningly.
The draconian looks very scared, but ultimately turns its head to the side and like seems confused by your gesturing. As this is happening, Jeb, you notice on the other side of Thraxenhao from the right, you see 2 of those draconians flying through the air towards Thraxenhao, racing towards his back.
About how far out?
The jump started probably 100 feet to your right, and when they get to Thraxenhao, they would be around 50 feet. No, I guess they'd be 200 feet to your right because you're directly over top of where Fox was attacking. So 200 feet to your right, they jumped. 100 feet to your right, they'll land on Thraxenhao.
I'm having a little hard time understanding your description here, but given a minor amount of time, will they be within 120 feet of Jeb?
Yes.
Okay.
They are
Jeb's gonna
arcing through the air towards Thraxenhao, who's 100 feet away.
Okay. Jeb's gonna message Owlin and say, I don't know what you guys are doing. Do something. There's more of those guys flying towards Thraxenhao. I'm gonna take them out. May end up dropping them on top of you. If I hit them once they're within 120 feet of me, would they fall around
No.
where Fox? Okay, so
No,
other
no, no.
direction. Okay.
It's like
and
a triangle. The righties are on the right end of the triangle, the lefties on the left end of the triangle, and the tip of the triangle is Thraxenhao.
Yeah.
Cool. I don't understand, but that's okay. I'm having a brain limitation right now. But
Okay.
in all of that, Jeb is going to. I mentioned Scorching Ray before. He actually cast Firebolt, but now he is going to cast Scorching Ray. He's going to lock a shell in there, and he's gonna, like, once they get in range, he's just gonna, like, be training on them, like with a rifle, waiting for them
Pull.
get in range, and he's gonna fire at them.
Great. Did they get a save or do you roll a hit? I think you rolled a hit, right?
I am rolling to hit.
Yeah, you are.
And I think it's time. I think I'm going to I'm going to burn a 3rd level slot on this. So I'll be firing 4 rays at them. And I can do them individually or together. So we're going to shoot one at the first one.
Okay. AC is 15.
That's going to be AC is 15.
Yep.
All right, that's more than 15, so that one hits. And I'm gonna do these individually, just
That's fine.
because depending upon how they pan out. That's 6 fire damage on the first one.
Okay.
That is more than 18, and another 6 damage on that same one. So pow pow, 2 directly into it. Is it still flying?
It's still flying, and it doesn't even look like you've really drawn blood yet.
Oh, okay. Well, we got 2 more. That's a natural 1. So that one misses, and that one is 22.
Great. So your natural 1, you fire, and it misses, and it goes into the woods and sets them on fire. Oh no! And then your second,
the last one.
Yeah, your last
is,
one, I should say, hits.
Yeah, it's 7 points of damage.
7 points of damage, and you have drawn blood now. The scorch marks on that front one are kind of, like along its torso, because you're interrupting its jump. It's going to roll a save to still land where that's the wrong die. It's going to roll a save to still land where it wants to. This is a dex save. Okay, the first one does not land on Thraxenhao. It kind of slams into the ground next to Thraxenhao. And Thraxenhao steps on it by accident while he's posturing with the others, and that one dies. The other one, continuing its jump, has advantage because there was nothing to interrupt its flight path, and with advantage, that's high enough. So the second one does land on Thraxenhao's back and begins scampering up it immediately. Having seen you, it's just running the length of Thraxenhao to get out of range. So it's going to basically get far enough up Thraxenhao towards his neck that it's out of your 100 or 120 foot range. Thraxenhao being like 90 feet long, he's an ancient dragon. So runs along that length. You then see a third one is in the machine and has just put the wingle digits in to launch itself as we cut back to Fox and Owlin.
Owlin, do we take out the righties or do we try to hit a dragon?
I believe from what Jeb has just observed, this doesn't exactly fire anything in particular. They're using it to launch themselves, which is an interesting strategy. I think what we can do, or a possible idea, is to launch, or there's a couple of options. We can launch ourselves.
Yes.
Did they jump from the contraption? Or
Yes,
did
they are
just
catapulting themselves onto Thraxenhao.
The contraption
I love
catapults them.
that Owlin is just having this internal conflict, like analyzing all of this with this big kaiju battle in the background with Thraxenhao and these shadow dragons. This is great.
It's just me voicing the things that I think, but out loud as Owlin. I believe one idea would be to
While Alan is talking, I will be tying up the other one hogtied style.
well,
Okay,
here's,
sleight of
here's
hand.
something. Well, you could tie that one up hogtie style and then launch it at the shadow dragons, and then we can launch ourselves onto Thraxenhao and defend Thraxenhao that way. Does that make sense?
Oh, really? Because I was going to launch this little effort into the righties and hopefully hit the contraption, and then we can launch ourselves wherever.
Oh, sure, that's fine. We could do that too.
Okay. Sleight of hand is a 25.
25 is a pretty strong knot you've tied there.
I'm going to load him up.
Yep. As he realizes what you're doing, he is going to struggle. I'm going to give him a roll to see if he can escape from your 25. That's
Alan
an 8 on
will
the die.
assist
He's
with
not going to
stopping
do it.
him. Yeah, I was just say Alan will be there as a second line of defense.
I'm just going to tap his shoulder and be like, I know he doesn't understand me, but I'm going to give him a look, sorry, little
A
bud.
little salute.
It's just the way the cookie crumbles.
He looks up at you, his little green eyes wide.
I can't help it. It's the way the cookie crumbles, and
We cut to Jeb
gonna-
standing at the top
Yep.
of the woods, who is watching very adeptly, probably readying another shot of some kind, I assume, for the next creature to jump from that machine. As that first creature leaps, you see from the other side like another one leaping, but with really weird form. So from your left, there's just a creature that seems to be spinning uncontrollably through the air, and then to your right, there's a draconian
Just
who's leaping
cartwheeling.
intentionally, and they look like they might be on a collision course for each other, depending on Fox's dexterity check to aim the machine, or actually just roll a
Right.
ranged attack at disadvantage because you're not familiar with this
be fair,
particular construction.
I am trying to specifically hit the contraption itself.
Oh, okay. You're not hitting
Trying to
the
hit the
creature. You're hitting
opposite
the contraption.
contraption.
Okay. Well, then
Yeah.
just roll at a disadvantage because it's extended range. That's why they had to
Okay.
get within 100 feet, because 100 feet is its effective range.
So what modifiers do I
It's a
get
ranged
that?
attack. So it would be your dex,
It'd be
and
your
you're not
dex,
proficient
right?
with the machine, so no proficiency bonus.
Okay, that's a 15 then.
A 15. I guess I should have worked out what the DC was on that. I think a 15 is high enough.
What's the AC of the contraption?
Jeb, you watch as Fox's shot goes errant wide, and you're like, oh, that's too bad. He couldn't hit him. And then you realize as the creature continues spinning that it's actually dead on target to hit the machine. I have to know, so I'm going to roll to see if it falls into the catapult and gets launched up again. That's not a high enough roll to pull that off. That would have been nuts. It just slams into the machine. The creature dies instantly, vaporized on the face of the machine, and the machine kind of gets like knocked backwards a little bit. It's anchored into the ground pretty hard, and it doesn't
It's
actually
also
pull
probably
out.
taking acid damage too. from the
Yes,
blood.
it is taking a little bit of acid damage. But it's knocked askew, but it's not knocked out of the ground. And you can see that Jeb can see that there are creatures over there who are already working on, refitting it in place. At the same time, Fox and Alan, you can see that there are a number of creatures headed towards you and your little catapult.
All right, Alan, I think this is the time we bug out. We either take this buddy, get on Thraxenhao, or we take this to take out the righties. Which way are we going?
I believe it is time to take the fight literally to Thraxenhao. And in fact, if we get a
Alright.
chance to go up to his head and scoop a little tear out of his little eye, then I
Yep.
think that would be beneficial for all of us as
Okay.
well.
For you
Bye.
listeners, Fox is leaning back from his microphone and holding the cable back and just launching himself as Alan is still talking about, what they're going to do. Fox has already launched himself into the air. Fox, go ahead and roll an acrobatics check as you soar through the air. Jeb, he's watching left and right, kind of waiting for the next creature to leap. He's tracking in the air. Then
Oh,
you
yeah.
realize that one's Fox.
That one hit it. Oh, what are the guys doing? What? Why are the guys doing that?
Not sure what I'm doing. I kind of let go, right? At the wrong moment, and I kind of start tumbling. I rolled a 12.
Oh man, you roll a 12. You are flying through the air. Thraxenhao's a pretty big target. Oh yeah, go ahead, Jeb.
How far? Like you said, Thraxenhao's 50 feet away from me, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
50 feet down the
Noted.
hill from you. Yep.
Noted.
Fox is flying through the air towards it. And Fox looks as graceless as you would expect Fox to look after launching himself out of a catapult. Hands pinwheeling, legs kind of flailing for balance. Fox, you do make it, like, you land on target in that you make it to Thraxenhao. Unfortunately, you slam face first into one of Thraxenhao's legs. Make a constitution save to stay conscious, and then a dexterity save to find purchase to continue climbing up.
Fair enough.
Alan
Okay.
will launch himself after Fox as well.
Okay.
6 for the Constitution.
Fox passes out.
Oh no!
Fox falls unconscious and begins falling away from the leg. He like slams
I
into
cast
the leg.
levitate on
I
him.
don't know why, but this
Okay.
is giving me like aim for the bushes vibes.
I'm gonna cast a spell
Okay,
while it's happening.
what's the spell?
I'm going to dial in Big Boy. I'm using him like sniper mode almost right now,
Okay,
and I'm going to lock a levitate spell shell in,
okay,
and I'm gonna fire it at Fox.
okay. So you levitate Fox. Are you trying to put him in Alan's path or just stop him from hitting the ground?
I mean, it looks like he just went womp, and this is like
That's exactly
tumbling
what
down.
happened. Yes.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna hold on to him, and I can't go back and forth, but I can like make him go up and down. So I'm just gonna like shake him. Like, hey,
Nice.
wake
That's
up.
enough to wake him up. Yeah, that's enough to wake Fox. You come to being flopped up and down by about 5 foot increments, just suspended in the air. Thraxenhao is next to you. His tail is thrashing in agitation. Looking upwards, you see Owlin soar overhead. Owlin, roll an acrobatics. You could roll an athletics check maybe to land the jump, I would say.
Good.
It's a combination of strength and dexterity to like land and grab grab hold of
Superhero
something on the
landing.
dragon. So I'm
And some would say that Alan just deserves advantage. No, Alan has inspiration. Let's go. Oh, I rolled the same thing. I rolled a 6
No.
twice.
you roll a 6. Alan
I know,
slams
I
into.
got okay, wait. It's a 12 total, but it is. a
Alan
6 on the
slams
die.
into the leg exactly where Fox did, maybe like 5 feet higher. Alan, roll a
Oh.
con save to stay conscious.
Can I catch him with Fox?
Let's see if he stays conscious first.
Okay.
11.
11, you stay conscious.
I
Go
rolled
ahead.
3 6s on the die in a row.
Go ahead and roll a strength save to grab anything and hold on enough to not fall off of Thraxenhao.
Finally, 22.
22. Okay, Owlin is able to. He slams into the dragon, but doesn't pass out, and he kind of grabs hold of like a scale, maybe, on Thraxenhao's leg, and kind of his feet kind of pinwheel out from under him until he lands back against the dragon, and now you will be able to climb Thraxenhao's leg to get onto his back. As
Okay.
this is happening, and Jeb, as you've been watching this, creatures have finished fixing the other one, and so you're seeing more of them kind of launching themselves into the air. There are 2 more that are airborne right now. Do you want to work with Fox, attack them, or do some other thing?
Well, heck,
Do they
we
look
didn't
like
stop those things.
they're going above me at all, like in their path? I highly doubt it, but I thought I would check.
Say that one more time.
Or do they look like they're going above me in their arc?
The ones from the left are going above you. The other ones are going to land on Thraxenhao, like from the right. So you're on
So no.
Thraxenhao's left, floating in the air. So some of them will go above you, and some of them will not.
Oh, right, because we didn't destroy ours, and
Right.
so other people have taken it up.
Yes.
Got you.
Yeah,
Other
a bit
little
of a-
draconians.
Can I use an oceans?
No.
Okay.
You know what?
enough.
For old time's sake, I'll give you 1 ocean because you're a rogue. 1 ocean.
Okay, okay. I would like to use an ocean.
Would you now? Is that how you
Back
feel?
on the ship. On their hands, Fox.
yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Right. I go ahead, and as I'm about to leave, I point to Alan, and I'm like, "Hey, loosen up these ties, and when you let go, it should launch you, but it should also destroy itself in the process, as the cable should break and potentially hit the cipher."
Ah, that is a great idea that you thought of, and I'm actually quite surprised that I didn't think of that.
Yeah, these things just come to me at just in the nick of time.
Yeah, it's quite convenient. Well, yes, I will do that.
And so Owlin does. Because an ocean cannot negate something that's already happened, he maybe didn't loosen them quite enough. And so a few creatures were able to launch themselves before the cables
Sure.
finally did give out. I'm going to roll a d6, and whatever that d6 is, that's how many of the Draconians are able to launch themselves before the cable fails. That'll be the roll for the ocean. Technically an ocean is a roll.
Technically, the
Three.
ocean is a roll.
3 creatures get themselves launched towards Thraxenhao before they knock themselves off of the tripod, and so that one is disabled.
Having seen all of this,
Yes.
Can Jeb kind of suss out that the last time he fired at the Draconians was it them being hit by an attack that set them like disadvantaged to try to grab onto
Yes,
Thraxenhao?
it seemed like when he hit them, their trajectory changed, and it made it harder to land on Thraxenhao.
All right. Well, so he's gonna, same thing but different. He's gonna cast another scorching ray, load up 3 more little boomy firebolt things, but this time he's gonna spread them out, pow pow pow, and try to hit all 3 of these guys that are coming at him and knock them off course.
Exceptional. And as Jeb does that, there is someone else who's flying through the air trying to keep themselves on course. We cut back to Bruiser, who is barreling down the hill, coming around the bend of this jump. He's rolled just well enough to keep himself kind of lined up and on point. He's about to launch perfectly off the jump. You soar into the air. As you are flying through the air, Bruiser, all of a sudden the world around you vanishes. It's just your bike in the void soaring upwards, and then you begin to see kind of like a glittering carpet of lights beneath you and a little bit of glitter off in the distance. You realize that you are soaring through the astral sea, and as you take this in, meteors begin flying towards you.
Yeah. I use Dex to dodge them?
Sure, yeah, you can roll a dex save to dodge them. Go ahead and roll a dex save for me.
22.
As they come towards you, you kick the bike into like a cool trick, and the momentum of it knocks you out of the way. You are now kind of like a little bit off course from your first jump, but now you're in space. You're not on the jump really anymore, so who knows what that means. As you are soaring upwards, another one comes rushing towards you.
Dodge it again
Yep.
with a non-natural 20.
Non-natural 20 is enough.
Nice.
Another one comes blazing towards you, this one kind of on fire from the speed that it's flying with.
Dodge again with a 21.
21, success. And at this point, you begin to see emerging out of the distance of the astral sea, there is a huge giant that is flinging asteroids at you, and that's where these boulders are coming from. As he swings his great lumbering arm backwards in a big overhand throw, another rock comes pelting towards you.
Could I use, I guess, like a dex perception to like calculate trajectories and like predict where they're gonna go to enhance my dodging ability?
That's an insane idea. Yes, do that. And if you roll high enough, you can have advantage on all the dodges in the future. Insanely cool, not insanely dumb. I realized when Wash laughed.
13.
13. You are able to calculate the general. It's a giant. He's throwing slow. You can calculate the arc of the boulders he's throwing. You can have advantage on your future dex saves to avoid them. Wash has a hand up. Yes?
I kind of feel like his dex perception check is like him getting a feel like testing out the bike.
Yeah, maybe
like,
it is.
Like try this, that, the, so that way he's able to like more readily react to things.
Yeah, sure. Here comes another boulder.
Dodging with a 24.
24. You're able to like twist the bike in such a way where the wheels land on the boulder, and so you're like driving up the boulder for a little while as your jump begins to even out. You're finally reaching the top of that arc, and so you're actually on your way down towards the giant. As you zoom towards the giant, it does throw one more huge boulder at you before you're going to make contact. Go ahead and roll.
Yep. 19.
You successfully dodge the boulder, but as it zooms by, it splits into several pieces, and some of them actually lodge in the wheel of your bike. And so the front wheel of your bike is unable to spin if you were to land on the ground and continue trying to ride. As you soar towards the giant, you now I'm going to roll another tension die for the passage of time with your soaring.
Unstick the wheel?
Unstick
Like
the
a
wheel?
sleight of hand?
Sure. Yeah, sleight of hand's a great roll for that. Go ahead and roll sleight of hand.
27.
27. You're able to get the boulders out of the wheel just in time to look up and realize that you're about to slam into the front of a giant. You can roll that dex save at disadvantage because
Okay.
you spent the time pulling the stuff out of the wheel.
That is a natural 1, unfortunately.
Natural 1. Oof. You lose the bike as you slam into the front of the giant. You're able to kind of slow yourself with your wings enough that it doesn't do too much damage to you. You're just going to take this D20 of damage, which is...
Please be low.
It's a 1. You take
Yay.
1 point of bludgeoning damage as you slam into the front of the giant. Your bike kind of falls away from you, and now you are plummeting straight downwards. And you see
Dex save to recover myself with my wings?
you can make a dex save to slow yourself, sure.
Okay.
Because you don't have a hover speed, you can't actually stop your fall. You know what I mean?
Yeah. 24.
24. Sure, you're able to slow yourself a little bit. As you're soaring towards the ground, now you are racing back through the field of meteors that the giant threw at you, rushing down towards the ground of the material plane. And you can see as you fall, there's the ramp you were supposed to land on, and way, way ahead of you, smashed into bits on the ground, is the bike that you were riding. It has finished its fall already and kind of just really destroyed itself.
Is it repairable?
I mean, with a bunch of time, it would be repairable. As you soar down towards the ramp there, I roll a tension die for the passage of time.
You'll
That's another
roll your feet.
complication.
And slide.
As you
Sorry.
as you ricochet off of one of the meteors for D4 of damage, which Cleo can roll for you. D4 of bludgeoning damage. That's the complication. You're continuing your fall. I'm going to roll another tension die for the
Would
passage
I be
of time.
able to
For damage.
recover myself and just slide on my is it icy or is it snowy?
It's rocky, like it's a rock
rocky.
ledge.
Okay.
And you can try and turn that into a slide, but you would need to do it with acrobatics. That would be the skill for that. Acrobatics goes down, athletics goes up.
Yeah. That is a 10.
A 10. It's not pretty, and you do take a d6 of kind of piercing damage from the rock as you slide down, which Wash will roll for you. But you are now headed 5 points of damage. You are now headed feet first down. If at any point Bruiser hits 0 hit points, by the way, let me know, because that would be a failed attunement and we would start over. You begin skidding towards the base of the ramp. You're kind of zooming down. The boulders are raining into the ground around you. I'm going to roll another tension die for the passage of time. Go ahead and roll a dex save. As they are slamming into the ground around you.
14.
One of them goes straight for Bruiser, but at the bare last second, as if you rolled exactly the number you needed, Bruiser rolls himself out of the way, continues sliding down,
Would
and
he
you
be
can
able
see...
to kind of jump up and start flying down to build up speed, like intermittent between sliding and flying to build up speed.
Sure.
Down.
Yeah, that's cool. You can definitely build up some speed. Go ahead and how are you going to do it? What check are you going to use?
Probably acrobatics.
All right. Go ahead and roll an acrobatics check for me to build up speed.
21.
21. You do a pretty good job of it. So you flop out of the way of the first meteor, and so you're kind of like on your belly, sliding feet first. So you're looking up, at the sky above you. And you can see as you look up that instead of meteors, now the whole sky is raining towards you. It's kind of coalescing into like a red liquidy. It almost looks like lava or magma is pouring down, and it's headed right for the top of the ramp, like it's going to race down after you. You roll over and begin accelerating yourself, so you're kind of like almost like skipping across water, where you're like jumping, flaring your wings out, picking up some speed, and then narrowing down to continue your slide down the ramp. I'm going to add a die to the tension pool for the passage of time here.
Okay.
And we did roll a complication, so as you're soaring down, there's like a big kind of like chunk in your way. Like it's just not a perfectly smooth ramp. And I'm gonna give you a chance here.
Dodge.
Okay, go ahead and roll your deck save.
Oh, another natural one.
Another natural 1. You slam right into it for 2d6 of bludgeoning damage, which Jake will roll for you.
Can I roll a
4
I-
damage.
I know though. Can I roll a deck save to recover and not lose as much speed?
Oh yeah, like to just try and keep yourself moving.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, roll a deck save for that. And that was 4 points of bludgeoning damage for Bruiser.
Yes.
He's getting
10.
bruised. Okay, a 10. You are sure you're able to kind of recover your speed, and so you keep moving. You've like flip almost like you slam into it feet first. Your knees kind of crunch a little bit, but you flip over it. And now you're head first, and so you can keep the speed going or whatever as you do that. You continue soaring down as the lava begins racing after you, and you can see that at the base of the ramp where it's going to even out, there's a trap door on the ground, but it's got a huge lock sitting on top of it. And you are just soaring towards that. I'm going to add a die to the tension pool for the passage of time. You are narrowly
like
staying
to
ahead of the lava,
unlock
your speed buoying you along. You reach the trap door.
Sleight of hand.
Okay, sleight of hand to pick the lock. If you have thieves' tools, you could use thieves' tools
Yes,
instead.
I do.
Okay, make a dex thieves' tools check.
17.
17. Bruiser deftly works the locks. I only roll 1 tension die because of where you rolled. The lava does not catch you, and so you pick the lock. You open up the trapdoor and you drop down, pulling the trapdoor shut just as the lava flows over it. The trapdoor luckily seems to be sealed in such a way where nothing is able to drip through, like it's a watertight trapdoor.
Yeah.
So it doesn't follow you in there. Now you find yourself in complete silence and quiet.
Acrobatics for landing wherever I am.
Okay, good idea. Go ahead and roll that.
9.
9. It's not pretty, but you only take 1d6 of fall damage as you kind of cushion the end of your fall, which was easily 30 or 40 feet. And Cleo will roll that for you.
Say that again.
A d6.
How much damage? D6. 3.
3 points of damage as you land. It's a little rough, but you still are able to make the landing. And as you're sitting there, I'm going to add a tension die to the pool for the passage of time
I'm
here.
going to look around the room and see what's here.
Okay.
Perception, I guess.
Sure. Go ahead and roll your perception check.
18.
Okay, you can't see anything, but you hear something whooshing towards you. I'm rolling a tension die.
Could I make a dex save? Just
Sure.
Using reflexes.
Yep, go ahead and do that.
19.
19 is enough. You dodge out of the way as something around fist-sized kind of swings past your face. You hear another whoosh with your perception coming towards you.
Dex save of 17. Could
Dex
I try
save
and
of-
catch it?
So you try to catch it, but with a dex save of 17, it's not enough to catch it. You feel something metallic hit your hand, and you take a d4 of piercing damage, which Wash will roll for you.
Okay.
And then you hear another something whooshes towards you.
Another dex save, but I'm not trying to catch it. 11.
Okay.
1 point of damage.
11 is enough to jump out of the way, although you did take 1 point of
Yes.
slashing damage from the thing the first time you tried to catch it. Another one comes whooshing towards you.
I'm going to try and catch this one
Okay.
with a 17.
A 17 is not quite enough to catch it, and so you take another d4 of slashing damage, which Jake would be happy to roll for you.
No, I'd be so mad to do it. And because of that, I rolled a 3.
All right, 3 points of damage as it kind of slashes across your hand. Whatever it is a little bit sharp on the end. You hear another whoosh, and something whooshes out of the darkness towards you.
Trying to catch it again with a 27.
A 27. You catch it, but the ground drops out from underneath of you. This is the complication I just rolled. But you are able to keep your grip on it. You begin falling, and you take 2d6 of fall damage because you
save?
didn't
Can I
call out
roll
your
a
dex save in time.
acrobatic?
2d6 of fall damage. Cleo will roll it for you. And you realize as you're falling, the thing you're holding is a key.
I'm so sorry. It's 12.
12 points of damage. bludgeoning damage as Bruiser suddenly, he's like, oh, I got the key! And then he, boom, falls, the ground falls out from underneath of you. It is still complete darkness. It's magical darkness, so even if you have dark vision, it doesn't apply. And it's completely silent in here. You no longer hear the sound of things flying towards you, although above you, where you were, you can hear the whoosh of things just kind of, shooting across that space.
Yeah.
And just kind of bouncing off of walls or whatever.
Could I make another perception check to see if there's a door that this key would go to?
Absolutely.
10.
You are not able to find, with your perception, your sense of, like smell and sight and whatever you can do from a distance, you're not able to identify any kind of exit or door or anything like that.
Um,
I'm going to roll
I
attention
guess
after
I
the
could
passage of time.
start investigating.
Okay, you can roll an investigation for me.
Non-natural 20.
Non-natural 20. You drop to all fours and you kind of reach around very gingerly. You successfully dodge out of the way of a poison needle trap as you find the door. The needle boom, springs out and does not reset. And you can feel where the lock is that you would need to put the key in.
Okay, I will put the key in and open the door and then jump through and anticipation roll a dex save for the fall.
Okay, great. Go ahead and roll your dex save, or you can roll acrobatics if you want, because you anticipated a fall on the other side.
Natural 20.
You jump forwards into bright, blinding light, which would have been totally off-putting if you had not been so prepared. You don't even need your eyes for this. Your nat 20 is so good that you dive between, I kid you not, a swinging scythe trap, a ring of blades, and then spikes hanging off the wall to land in a perfect crouch at the base of what is, it turns out to be kind of like a curving tunnel that curves downwards. You are standing now on a platform, and around you is sort of like a white silvery mist that even as you look at it begins materializing into something. We'll find out what that something is shortly. Meanwhile, Owlin and Fox, well, Owlin, you're hanging off the side of a dragon. Fox, you're floating somewhat nearby. Fox is close enough that if you wanted to like grab his hand and chuck him onto the dragon, you could do that. But first, I'll need an athletics for you to climb up the leg of Thraxenhao.
Yeah.
And I'm intrigued by whatever Jeb wants to do right now.
23.
23. Owlin is able to successfully climb up Thraxenhao's leg and basically get to his back where you can kind of steady your footing. Jeb, what are you up to?
3 scorching rays. One is a 19, one is more than that, and one is like 28.
Okay.
27.
Yeah, so all 3 of those hit. Are they hitting airborne creatures?
There were 3 dragon
Draconians.
Draconians, thank you.
Yep.
And so he was just going pop, pop, pop to give them all disadvantage on landing.
Excellent.
He's like, come on, Thraxy, you can stomp on these guys too.
Let's see how they do.
I don't know if it matters with the damage, but...
Okay, the first 2 succeeded. But the last one failed. So the first 2 are kind of spinning off course, whatever. They land, but they land prone on Thraxenhao's back. So they're either face down or face up, but they kind of like land and barely catch hold of maybe like one of the spines coming off of his back. The third one is not so lucky. He's knocked so far off course that as Thraxenhao flares out his wings, it actually baps him aside and he gets thrown into the burning darkwood.
Wilhelm scream?
Yeah, Wilhelm scream, exactly. And as he makes that move, Alan, are you going to pull Fox on, or Fox, what are you up to, basically?
I'm gonna
go
roll
ahead.
acrobatics as Alan thinks about it.
Well, Alan was going to get good footing and then reach out his hand to help Fox.
Well, while you're
Fox
getting
is technically floating in the middle of the air.
Yeah.
I'm going to look back at Jeb, point up.
And Jeb whoop, sends him up. I don't know if it matters PM, but that's 9 and 12 damage for those guys that are prone on Thraxenhao's
Perfect.
back.
So there are so far 5 of them on Thraxenhao's back, 5 little draconians.
Alan will do whatever he can to assist Fox getting on.
Between
and
the
then his
2
next
of your
priority is to
efforts
fight.
and Fox's dexterity as a rogue, yes, easily able to bring him onto Thraxenhao's back.
So I'm
Now the
gonna
goal is to fight
beeline
those
it for one of the
guys.
prone one of the prone boys.
Okay, we're gonna do initiative in team order, which is to say we'll do Fox, then Owlin, then Jeb for your team, and then we'll do the Draconians in order, just because of time, basically. So we'll start with your all turn because a lot of these Draconians have just fallen or skidded or landed or whatever, and then we'll come back around to them. So Fox, go ahead and go first.
Alan's Alan will let Fox know that, or at least signal to Fox that he's pulling out his flamethrower, and if there's any of those Draconians that are within 15 foot of each other, he wants to get up and like see if he can kind of get.
Are they within 15 feet of each other?
No, not at the moment. They're all kind of scattered across Thraxenhao's back.
Okay.
Fox, as you run to the first one, make a dexterity save.
Okay, that's a 24.
Alan, make a dexterity save.
Okay. That's a natural 1.
Alan fails his dexterity save. Alan, make a... I don't even know if you get another one with a natural 1. Hang on. Okay, that's 1 fail, 1 success. 1 success that's enough to cover someone else's failure. And then 1 more success. Okay, so Thraxenhao, who has just flared his wings out, darts forwards. And when a dragon that you're standing on the back of darts forwards, that's a problem for people. Fox, you are able to grab hold of one of the icy spines as your feet are lifted up behind you so that you're completely horizontal. You can see that around you, some of the Draconians have been lucky enough to do that. One of them flies downwards and actually soars past Owlin, who's holding on, but then loses his grip and soars down. Owlin, you're going to lose most of the length of Thraxenhao. Because he's diving, his tail is extended straight behind him like he's dashing, and so I'm going to give you 1 attempt to grab the horns at the end of his tail, like his horned tail. So go ahead and roll another save. You can use dexterity or you can justify another skill if you can find a way to justify it.
Well, I mean, Alan, as in anything like this, his main benefit is just to brute force it. So he's trying to, similar when he was falling down the mountain, just use any of his extremities to catch on something. And just try to use his brute force to grab.
Okay.
If that makes sense. So he's gonna, if athletics works for that, he would.
Yeah, I'll take an athletics for that.
Just holding your arms out to collide with.
I'm rolling so terribly. That is a 13.
Okay. Alan, basically, Thraxenhao darts out from under you, and you are now approximately 30 feet in the air, and Thraxenhao is no longer beneath you. So that's 30 feet of falling, which is 2d6 of fall damage, as you fall right off of Thraxenhao's back.
As Alan hits the ground and kind of gets back up and kind of stretches, he'll say something to the tune of, "That is becoming much more frequent than I would like." As he kind of gets back up.
Fox, who succeeded on his roll, go ahead and continue your attack. It's still technically your turn in combat.
Okay. Well, he's prone, so I get an advantage. Doesn't matter. I rolled a nat 20 on the first roll. Natural 20 on the first roll.
Nice. You kill it. You stab straight through the first one, and with your nat 20, you don't take any of the poison damage as you kill it. So it maybe it's because of some of the icy properties of Thraxenhao, where you kill it and what should have been a poison spray crystallizes into ice immediately, and you can just kind of kick it away and off the side of Thraxenhao. As you look forwards, you see Thraxenhao's huge head rear up at the end of his neck and slam teeth first into one of the shadow dragons, knocking it backwards. They're flying over some of the army. So it's like this dragon has suddenly been flipped like ass over tea kettle, and just boom, it's being dragged by its neck, which Thraxenhao is holding in its claw or in its teeth, dragged on its back across the army's camp. So tents are going flying to the side until with a juddering poosh, it slams into the cast iron thing, which rocks back a little bit and then comes to a slamming rest on the ground. Jeb, they're now approximately 400 feet away from you in terms of distance. This move is all part of 1 turn. So Jeb, if you want to make a move before then, you can, but that's kind of the end of that dash.
Jeb would have, during this, would have started running towards Owlin as fast as he can.
Sure, you get there. So you and Owlin can both take a turn. It also sounded like Fox had one other thing you wanted to do. What's up, Fox?
Can I use my bonus action to dash to get within striking range of what other.
Yeah, there's three
Yeah.
more of them after the one you've killed. As you dash towards them, you can see that all three of them are reaching into like a little sash they have tied around like a belt and pulling out short swords that have runes etched on the sides of them and plunging wingle digits into them to activate ciphers. That's going to bring us to Alan and Jeb.
Well, it seems as though those catapults do not have enough
Yeah,
range
we're
to
going
get
up,
us to
and he
Thraxenhao now.
smacks him on the calf and casts fly on both of us.
Okay. Alan, who's just landed, taking 2d6 of fall damage, whoosh, just zooms upwards. Alan, did you roll that, by the way, or do you want me to?
Yeah, it took 9 damage.
Okay, cool. And just Jeb like is there, and then you're flying. Everyone's moving. Jeb, are you in control of this fly, or is it independent?
I'm maintaining concentration on the magical effect. And I believe he has to stay within 100 feet of the... Well, no, he's got his own rod, so it's just up. But he is in control of his own faculties.
Okay, great. So you're flying independently like two little wasps zooming over the army. I'm going to roll a tension die to see if anyone gets a lucky shot off to try and hit you. Oh man, that is a complication.
No.
One of the people in the army is going to fire an ice knife rifle at you. He's going to roll to hit. It's going to be a
An ice
disadvantage
rifle.
because of the speed you have, but the first roll was
That's
a
a
nat 1, so
natural
it doesn't
one.
matter. Boom, flies wide as Jeb and Alan zoom by.
It's like the flak when, like, a
Yeah,
bomber's
exactly.
like going...
Like anti-air flak. As you zoom towards Thraxenhao, it is now the 3 remaining Draconians on Thraxenhao's back's turn. So they're going to each do some stuff, which involves some rolling. All right, one of them succeeds. One of them fails. One of them fails. Okay, so one of the creatures is actually able to pierce one of Thraxenhau's scales with the short sword. It plunges down in, and then you see little rippling heat waves emanate up from the sword as the cipher in it activates. Thraxenhao roars, and his head rears back, and you can see that the scale itself chars and falls off of Thraxenhao. You get the impression that some kind of latent or delayed action poison type damage is taking place from the blade that's been impaled in Thraxenhao. The Draconian lets go of that blade and is going to dash towards Fox, who's also dashing towards him. So it's basically going to meet you mid-dash, and it's going to try and thrust you off of the dragon. So it's just going to bull rush right into you. This is just an opposed strength check.
Okay. Can I use and justify acrobatics to just dodge it rather than oppose it?
Totally. I don't even think you even need to roll with what it rolled to hit, but go ahead and roll in case you nat 1.
In case it was, I don't know. Is 21 enough?
21 will beat the 7, yes. And so you successfully dodge. The other 2 Draconians, they are not able to pierce Thraxenhau's scales with the short swords, but they still have the active short swords in hand, and rather than taking another attack or a move action, they're going to use their second kind of turn thing to prepare for Fox. So they're basically just taking ready stances and getting ready for his attack. Which will translate to you having disadvantage on your attack. And I'm going to roll a tension die.
Including the one that tried to push me.
That one is past you. So that one does not... He didn't get any preparation. There's 2 ahead of you and one that's sword behind you that Alan and Jeb are closing in on fast.
Right.
Thraxenhao, having reared up, he aims to take another swipe at the dragon he's pinned, and one of the other shadow dragons launches into him from the side. Boom! The concussive force throws him sideways. Luckily, you are
Chronal shift.
Okay. Chronal shift. Thraxenhao gets hit, and Thraxenhao gets hit by the dragon that roars into him, but it doesn't judder him to the side because he turns it into a grapple. He kind of arcs himself into, kind of bends over on himself so that he's almost sitting on the ground on his haunches. The one dragon is resting against the cast iron cube, and now he's sitting on his haunches with the other dragon caught in his hands. So instead of slamming into him and knocking him over, he's caught it with his huge talons, and he roars at it, "You think you can out wrestle me?" And he's just he's grappling it there, and he gets ready to do some kind of big attack that you don't notice because we zoom back in on Jeb and Alan, who are soaring towards his back. What are the 2 of you doing?
If Owlin saw, at least even from a distance, that the creature putting the sword into the back of Thraxenhao caused Thraxenhao to react that violently, Owlin's trying to beeline for that, drop right on that, and pull it out of Thraxenhao.
Oh, to the sword, not the creature.
Yes, correct.
Okay, great. Alan rushes over to the sword. I need Alan to make a dexterity. Let's make a strength save. Strength save to. This is for the flare of fire that comes off of the sword when you try and grab it.
Okay. Gosh, what is my rolling? 12?
12. It is super hot, and you're not able to kind of like hold through with that fire damage coming off of it.
Are you
don't-
raging?
I have not explicitly said I'm raging yet,
Oh.
so no.
Okay.
Yeah, so you don't take any damage. It's just too hot for you to handle long enough
advantage
to
on
pull it
strength checks.
off of the
Advantage on
the
strength
dragon.
checks when you rage.
Yeah.
Yep. But that's where you're located. Takes your flying move action because it's up near his
Okay.
neck. So that's 90 feet of dragon. And then Wash or Jeb, what are you up to?
So as Owlin and Jeb are kind of like side by side, coat and loincloth flapping in the wind, before Owlin heads off, Jeb's going to be like, if I get hit, I lose concentration, we both go down. Beware of that. If you're going down there, I'm going to stay up high, stay out of the way.
Yes,
Got it.
I'm going down there. Yes, that sounds perfect.
Very good. And as Owlin kind of like peels off to the side, Jeb is going to kind of take a higher position, almost like right behind Thraxenhau's head, like up and
Sure.
above, above his neck. And Jeb is going to pull from his bandolier. Oh wait, dang it! No, I can't do that. He's going to start firing
Okay.
a bunch of little stuff at the guys on his back. Just
Sure,
pew,
sure.
pew 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 pew.
There are two of them between you and Fox, and then one of them further down, like closer to his tail.
This is a 27 to hit. I'm rolling hot tonight.
Yeah, that's a hit.
And this is just the single beam of fire. Just
Okay. Boom, you
across.
hit one of them with a single beam of fire.
Make sure it's one of the ones in between us.
Sure, it's the one in between them.
Great.
That is 17 points of fire
17
damage.
points of fire damage. Fox, even as you dash towards them, having dodged out of the way of one, you see the two Draconians further up Thraxenhau's hide from you take ready stances, and then one of them just gets lanced by some fire from behind and falls to the ground dead. A little bit of acid kind of splashes out of the corpse and crystallizes immediately and gets shaken off as Thraxenhao gets ready to make a move. And is that all three of you? Did all three of you get to go this round?
Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
you
Fox,
didn't?
go ahead.
No, I did my dash from last round. I haven't done anything since.
Great. Okay, so go ahead and take your turn.
I'm gonna go ahead, run up. I want to grab the.
There's only one in
sword-
front of you now. Oh, you're grabbing the sword?
Grabbing the sword that had fallen from the one that got struck down.
Oh, cool. Great.
Smart.
Yep.
So smart.
You grab it.
And I'm gonna rush up, and I'm just gonna go for a running dive into him with the sword, just trying to thrust it into this little guy.
Sure, absolutely. Roll to hit. You still have disadvantage because he's got that ready stance. He's looking to
Sure.
dodge you.
And what would be my mods for that? Since it's a short sword, is that finesse still?
I think short swords are finesse.
Pretty sure they are. Yeah.
Yeah. Then in that case, that's a 22 to hit.
22
There
to
you go.
hit is enough. Whoosh, you lance the sword into him, and this incredibly huge like gust of fire bursts out of the sword when it impales him, and he is completely dead, charred, gone, like little ashes floating off of the sword.
Whoa.
The sword is glowing red hot, but you can tell that the cipher is no longer active. And it seems to
Alright.
have been consumable. Like the cipher doesn't look like it can be reset. The whole thing is charred, the whole length of it.
Sure.
Jeb,
I'm
roll an
gonna-
Arcana check.
I'm rolling. Thinking with my brain. I only rolled a 10. So that means 22.
Dang. Jeb, you recognize a spell of Fireball cast at 6th level.
In a condensed location.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that
Okay.
brings us around to the villains'
Wait.
turns. Oh, go ahead. Never
I
mind,
just
it
want to
doesn't.
say I'm just throwing away the one I used, and I am picking up as he died his before he had a chance to stab it.
Oh, that's a good point. I'm going to roll attention die real quick just to see if it broke, but I don't think it did. Nope, it's still there. So you're able to pick up a second one.
DM.
Yes.
Could I plea a case that for Fox to recognize what this is, since he and I both threw fireballs down into
Sure. Yeah,
into
Fox
that
knows.
500. Nice.
That's fine. I'll take
Let's
that.
go. Let's go.
Yeah, so that's a 5th level fireball in that spell, or in that sword, I should say. Okay, and that brings us to the villains. One of them is on Thraxenhao's back. It's down by the tail, and it's the one that already impaled its sword. It reaches into its little cloak and pulls out another one, and jams the wingle digits into it. It's going to try and impale Thraxenhao's tail because it can see threats further up the body of the dragon from it. It's going to roll to hit. It's not high enough, so it tries to, but maybe the tail moves in such a way where it kind of glances off
wagging.
the armor, and so it's not able
He's a
to
happy
hit.
dragon.
I'm also going to roll attention die for the passage of the round here, and this time Thraxenhao, as he's now like wrestling the one dragon. The first dragon he hits gets back to its feet, and together with its third companion, the two dark dragons reach up and kind of slam their shoulders into Thraxenhao from behind. He begins falling to the side. All of you who are on the dragon can make a dexterity save to keep your feet. Alan, if you fail, you'll still be flying. You just won't be on Thraxenhao's back anymore.
18.
18's enough.
You know,
That one?
in some places, no, I did not get in that one. Okay, just because I take a slow breath and start trying to argue
2?
a nonsensical point doesn't mean that I rolled a 2 on the die and thus got 11. Though in this particular case,
Fox-
it does mean
Fox loses his footing most of the way up Thraxenhao's back as he's launched to the side. And so imagine you're standing in a field of vertical spikes, right? The ice spikes on his
Sure.
back. That field falls sideways. And so now you are falling between those spikes like handlebars. Make a dexterity save to try and catch one of them to arrest your fall. Otherwise, you're going to fall onto the ground.
16.
16's enough. So Fox catches himself and he's hanging there, and you didn't take any damage from it. But the next round, you'll need to right yourself, which will cost half your move action, just like going prone would. Owlin, you're able to basically grab hold of one of those spikes. So you are still standing. It's just that the floor is now on the side. And Jeb, you're up by Thraxenhau's head, so that's fine. Thraxenhao roars angrily and gusts out a huge ice breath, which flares around one of the shadow dragons and fully encases its head in a block of ice.
Nice.
And it seems like it's probably out for a round or two as it
Ice
tries
is
to like
nice.
claw the ice off of its head. We cut from here back to your no, we don't. I'm sorry. We missed something. As Thraxenhao flies to the side, because he fell on his side, 3 draconians splat into his belly instead of landing on his back from more of the catapults that the army had, deeper in its camp. But one thing appears out of a blur as if it's teleported into position right behind Owlin. Jeb and Fox both see it, but Owlin does not, as the shadow creature that teleported onto Thraxenhau's back tries to wrap one of its spiked chains around Owlin. It's going to roll that attack.
One thing, I don't know why. It doesn't even matter how hard you try.
That is
Keep that in
a
mind.
It teleported behind me.
that's an 18 to hit. Does that hit?
Yeah, an 18 hits.
Okay, an 18
Chronal shift.
hits. Chronal shift. Is that a reroll or a fail?
That's a reroll.
Reroll. Boom. Chronal shift.
Rerolls.
Nat 1. The chain
go.
wraps around
Let's
Owlin.
go.
Owlin, you actually
Let's go.
feel the spikes of like the poison tipped spikes of the chain press into your skin, but before they pierce the skin, it almost like
goes incorporeal and falls through you as the creature's arm just rewinds and it tries again to make that throw. But the time it cost while Jeb was rewinding its action was enough time for Thraxenhao to right himself. And so instead of hitting you, the shadow creature is thrown into one of the spikes next to you. It catches itself and arrests its fall, but is not able to take that attack action. And so now it is you, Fox, and Jeb's turn. And there's only a shadow creature on Thraxenhao's back because the Draconians bounced off his belly.
Not
but
today, Greater Restoration.
Thraxenhao has stood up, so you're all right side up.
right.
Alan would like to rage and then double attack the shadow creature.
I figured Alan would want to do something like that.
So the shadow creature needs to make a dex saving throw against the lightning strike that's about to happen with Alan's rage. When Alan rages, his incorporeal wings.
It's another nat 1.
Let's go. Okay.
He's just not having a good day.
Things are rough for this guy.
Takes 5 lightning damage as when Alan rages, his incorporeal wings form, and as he's like gone further and further and kept like going more into this storm herald barbarian pathway for him, his wings now look like they're like made of lightning. And when the storm cloud forms around him and the lightning strikes, that's like when his wings become the most like fully formed. And then he is going to do 2 attacks with the Scimitar of Speed. One of them is a 19, and the other one is a 27.
Both of those, just double checking. Yeah, both of those hit.
Okay. Total damage is 21.
21 points of damage as Alan just boom, boom, hits it. The shadow creature, which has like braced itself on one of those spikes coming out of Thraxenhao's back, takes the hits, just full on eats them. And it kind of like rears back, its pale face kind of opens its jaw and hinges, and it gives a little bit of a roar. It's going to use one of its legendary actions to teleport away to relative safety. It's still on Thraxenhao's back. Jeb and Fox, both of you can see where it went, but Alan would need to roll a perception check because it was only trying to hide from him. So it's up near Thraxenhao's neck now, like right near the base of its head, pretty close to Jeb, actually.
Well, that's what I'm doing.
What are you doing?
Jeb is going to land on Thraxenhao's head.
Okay.
And he's just going to kind of whisper to himself, sorry about this, Owlin. And he is going to drop concentration on Fly, and Owlin will feel his feet sink a little heavier into Thraxenhao's back.
Okay.
And he's going to pull a solid black, almost onyx or Vanta black spell shell from his bandolier. That contains the purely condensed 7th level chaotic energy that he pulled from that Mavira clone thing.
Okay.
And he's going to load it into Big Boy, and he is going to cast Sunbeam. He shoots it like almost like a mortar straight up into the air, and it kind of up into this big firework where it condenses down into this like miniature sun that just kind of hovers in front of him, and that he's like holding with the like balancing it above the blunderbuss blade, and it arcs out of it. It's got a 60-foot range, 5 feet wide, and it's just gonna boom. It is actually sunlight, and it's going to hit or shoot at this shadow creature. It needs to make a Constitution saving throw.
It's gonna try. Cleo, do you know that your Discord is up?
Is it? Oh, no, I do not.
Got that screen share within a screen share.
Yeah, look at that.
Oh, there it is.
Constitution saving throw of 15.
Needs to beat a 16.
It does not beat it.
It takes 6d8 radiant damage and is blinded until my next turn.
68 radiant damage?
6d8 radiant damage. I'm rolling it right now.
It explodes in a puff of
5,
limbo
6.
energy. It's a shadow creature. That's a vulnerability. No way it survives. I guess you could roll all ones.
35
Yeah,
Doubled
easily.
to 70.
radiant damage.
Yep, it's dead.
And so it just boom, shoots off of him. But the ball, the sun, stays there, and it starts to glow up for Jeb's next turn. I get to maintain concentration on this and fire it for an entire minute.
Is it
Let's
is it an
go.
area
That's
of
10
effect
turns.
spell? How does it?
It is so he just controls this.
What I'm trying to
little-
figure out is if Thraxenhao is in danger from it because you just blasted
is
this thing
not.
out of it. Okay,
No,
so it's not like
but
it
it
just
shoots
keeps
a-
going through.
No, it's 60 feet and 5 feet wide.
Got it. Okay, so you can position.
So
it
he
where
was
you
like
need to.
aiming
Perfect.
it, yeah, like
Yep.
positioning it down there.
Awesome.
But as he just obliterates this shadow creature, Jeb starts to turn around and point towards one of the shadow dragons.
Chat's like
Let's
dusted.
go. Let's go.
Turn it around and point it at one of the shadow dragons. We'll roll that save and deal with that effect in a little bit.
Yep. He's gonna fire it off next turn. He gets
Okay.
to fire it out every single turn.
Perfect.
For 10 turns.
Okay.
That's insane.
I think Alan has a move yet, right? Or no, Alan already went because he started beating up the shadow creature and Jeb finished it
haven't
off.
done anything.
Alan raged and double attacked. Yeah.
Yeah, Fox, what are you up to?
So you said there was nobody else on the back, but that little bastard who was stabbing at the tail, is he still there?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna go deal with him.
Okay.
So we're horizontal again, right?
You're horizontal again. Yes.
Okay. When I fell, how close am I to the tail?
You could make it in a dash.
Okay, but that would be a dash. Oh yeah. All right. So
Yeah,
bonus
your
action
action
dash.
dash, yeah.
Yep.
You got it.
Bonus action dash.
And
Just
I'm
rogue
gonna,
things.
I'm gonna do the same thing where I'm just gonna charge forward and,
And
go
impale
for
him?
the impalement.
Man, the
and,
optics of this fight are so cool. Like Jeb and Owlin
Yes,
are
I
blowing up
agree.
this shadow creature as Fox sprints down the back of a dragon.
All right.
I'm here for it.
That's only a 12.
It's a draconian. Let me see. I think that's enough. Oh no, it's not. The draconian dodges dexterously out of the way as you blast towards it. Luckily, with your roguish instincts, you don't like run off the back of Thraxenhao or anything.
Sure.
But you're now like you're pretty much in melee range. We'll assume that you actually. I guess that is a question. Do you have the action economy left to disengage?
No,
I
the
do
bonus
not.
Action, yeah.
Okay, so
we're,
it's gonna-
we're engaged.
Yeah. So you're either engaged
we're
or
gonna
if,
get next year. Everybody come
Save the
May
dates
1st,
coming
we're
coming
thinking
any day
about-
now. Yeah. Love that. Okay, so yeah, you're just down there. Fox bolts down Thraxenhao's body, gets to the end of the tail, and kind of skids into combat while Jeb and Owlin are up near Thraxenhao's head, kind of taking part in the larger fight. As Thraxenhao feels the kind of weapon being aimed at one of the shadow dragons, you feel his enormous legs begin kind of tensing, and you can feel the power building. And then he leaps forwards, grabs one of the dragons, and it's the one that he was already fighting, so he's kind of engaged with it already. Drags it along the ground, but only for like 10 feet before his huge wings flare out to the side, and whoosh, he takes to the sky, leaps up in the air, dragging one of these shadow dragons with him, launching it into the side of the cast iron thing, slams it into the side, and then flies up there and goes straight up. He's going to dive into the sword. Into the blizzard. I need dexterity saves from everybody who is on Thraxenhao's back, including the draconian. The draconian nat 20. The draconian's all good.
So because of the draconian nat 20, and I can see this draconian nat 20, can I just like absorb some of that nat 20
No.
energy?
Did you nat 1?
I didn't nat 1. Why do you always assume when I start debating that I nat 1? Obviously, I nat 2'd
Yeah.
and got an
2,
11.
Josh,
An
come on.
11. I don't think an 11's going to do it.
Alan got a 12.
Ooh, okay, Owlin, you're up near the top of Thraxenhao, so as he goes vertically, you've got a whole field of spines to grab hold of, so you can have 2 dex saves before you fall off his back. Fox is at the end of his tail, engaged in combat. Fox, I don't think there's anything for you to grab hold of. I think Fox falls off of Thraxenhao. The only good thing about it is that he probably falls early enough that there's only like maybe 1 or 2 d6 of fall damage. I'll roll a tension die to see If you roll a complication, then you're more than 50 feet up. Okay, so you're 20 feet up. You take 1d6 of fall damage.
Alan rolled a 6 and a 5 on his 2
Oof.
chances. So
Alan also gets flung off of Thraxenhau's back. So there's only Jeb up there, unless Jeb also failed his save. How did Jeb do? Did Jeb not win?
So hear me out. Hear me out.
Did Jeb not win?
I did not nat 1.
Okay.
So
Jeb didn't nat 1 either.
Okay.
But he did roll a 5.
He rolled a 5 as Thraxenhao jets upwards into the blizzard, kind of surrounded by the snowy mist of that storm, and the three of you fall off. We find ourselves plunged into a different white ethereal mist, a sort of gray silvery mist that begins forming into structures even as Bruiser looks at it. Bruiser, you see what looks to be almost like an obstacle course forming out of the walls around you. You see, big rings that you could leap through. You see walls that could be climbed. You see trampolines you can bounce on. It almost looks like a playground for rogues, if that makes any sense. You just see all of these different, any configuration of obstacles you can imagine, they're present here.
Okay, he's going to eagerly approach the obstacle course.
Okay, you walk towards the obstacle course. I'm going to roll a tension die. Nothing in particular seems to happen as you approach the obstacle course. I'm going to roll a tension die.
Okay, and he's going to just start bouncing around in the obstacle course, probably heading for the trampoline first.
Perfect. Acrobatics.
He wants to do acrobatics, yeah. That's 15.
15. Bruiser does an exceptional jump off of the trampoline, gets some great height, and as he jumps, you see rings begin appearing in front of you, hanging from the misty ceiling.
Grab ring. Dex save, I guess.
Dex save? Sure. Dex save will grab it. It won't continue your momentum, but it'll grab hold of it.
17.
17, easily enough. You leap up, you grab the rings. You're now holding on to them. You can see that ahead of you, more rings are forming, and then the rings that you're holding on to are beginning to fade and go incorporeal.
Okay, he swings to grab the next ring with acrobatics.
Okay.
19.
19, easy. And you're able to build up enough momentum that as the rings are fading away, you leap towards the next one already rather than falling. You continue kind of leaping through this course for a little bit until you see at the end there is a platform there that you could jump onto.
Okay, he's going to, on the last set of rings, do like take an extra swing to build up momentum and try and do a flip.
Okay, he's going to do a flip. Go ahead and roll.
Non-natural 20.
Non-natural 20. You do an exceptional flip. It looks gymnastics worthy, which is convenient because as you come to a landing, the mist clears and you see a stadium, a crowd of enthusiasts, of fans, of 72 eons of dexterous people and athletes from previous eras cheering and going crazy. Yeah, they're getting all excited having watched your routine as the platform you're on begins magically descending to the ground. And you see one of them walk out towards you with a very small, because you're a smaller creature, so like a very small kind of lanyard with like a medal hanging off of the end of it. They walk towards you. They're kind of holding it out. And as they do that, I'm going to roll a tension die for the passage of time. They're continuing to approach you. I'm going to roll another one.
Okay.
Walk towards you.
I'm going to approach them.
Okay, you approach them.
Descending?
Nope, you're on the ground now. That's fine. You approach them. Okay. They're approaching you. We hit a complication die from one of the onlookers in the crowd chucks a rock at you. Go ahead and roll a dexterity save to see if you can avoid it.
25.
Bruiser leaps aside with a 25, gets out of the way. The person who's got the medal again turns and just kind of walks towards you, holding it out, kind of in that like head shape.
Reach out for the medal.
You reach out for the medal. As you reach out for it, you fall through the mist in the floor and you appear again back on the platform. The person with the medal shakes their head, kind of like, I can't believe you did that, and begins walking towards you, holding out the medal. I'm going to roll a tension die for the passage of time.
Could I roll, I guess, just straight dexterity to try be faster than them? Sleight of hand, I guess?
Sure. Yeah, you could try that. Go ahead and roll sleight of hand.
Non-natural 20.
It's enough. You snatch the metal right out of the person's hand. And are you going to put it on?
Yes.
As you put it on, you open your eyes and you're on the airship. You're on the airship. The metal that you found is now in your hand. It's just the metal, not the lanyard. It's a very small, like the size of a quarter, little gold token. And you can see on the very top of the ivory rod, there's a little slot that you can place it inside of. As you're kind of contemplating all these options, yeah, you set it in there, and you feel the attunement complete. And as the attunement completes, all the soreness that comes from some of your failed tasks in the rod comes back and hits you. You did not fail enough things to suffer a long-term injury, but you had enough low rolls that for the next 3 long rests, you will have 1 layer of exhaustion that you can't get rid of. Other than that, you are fully attuned. So your attunement is complete, and you feel yourself being very, very dexterous. As you look down at the rod, the runes now disappear. As you kind of think to yourself about like any skill, the runes begin to form instructions for that skill. So if you wanted to train in a new skill, the rod would actually be able to teach you any skill rather than you having to find a mentor. The rest of the things the rod does, we'll have to wait for later, because as you're contemplating that and thinking it's cool, you look out the window just in time to see Thraxenhao vertically dragging a shadow dragon soar past your window. Whoosh! And as he does, he's followed by a trail of blizzard, and the craft finally begins kind of spinning or skidding out of control as poor Radford and Bruiser up there at the top, like
No, this way is left. This way is left.
it's not about left, it's about the wake that the dragon flew past. And the craft is beginning to list to the side.
I'm gonna sprint to the helm area.
Okay, you dash up to the helm area. I'm going to roll 1 tension
Oh, thank
die.
goodness. Oh, thank you. It's all yours. I don't want to touch
Take
this
it,
thing
take it,
anymore.
take it.
Take it.
Bradford
long
is
has it
literally
been?
flying like in circles around the room because the floor is moving too much for him to stand on. So he's like flying in circles.
How long was I out for?
He was out.
I don't know.
Yeah, like 15, 20 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were asking in character. My bad.
Oh,
was.
Sorry. I didn't realize that. That's my bad. My bad. Meanwhile, you were out long enough that on the ground, pretty much directly below the airship, are 3 intrepid heroes who have fallen to the ground at the base of a 500 by 500 by 500 cast iron container with an army sprawling around them. I'm going to roll a tension die.
How much fall damage do we take? How far do we fall?
Yeah, but I have time to have done something.
You would have time for 1 action. Or actually, Jeb, we didn't give you your 2 deck saves to grab Thraxenhau's spikes on your way up.
Oh, that's true.
So you can make those. Alan and Fox take Alan take 2d6. Fox take 1d6 of fall.
Already did.
Alan was raging, so he takes half.
Good for him.
17 on the first deck save.
Oh, 17's actually enough. So Jeb falls, but he's able to just barely grab hold, and so you're hanging on as
down the
Thraxenhau's
neck,
going
or am I
straight
still on
up.
his
So
head?
Bruiser, when he sees Thraxenhao soaring vertically, you also see Jeb, but just like hanging on with his little mole claws off the side of Thraxenhao as he whoosh, flies vertically
This
up into
big
the sun.
sunbeam just like whoom, waving
Yeah.
around.
Well, my responsibility is to the airship and the people on the airship, so I'm gonna make sure that we just stay on course as unharmed as possible.
Absolutely. Fox and Owlin, the 2 of you are kind of picking yourselves up on the ground, and based on the tension die roll, I'm going to give you the first move. You're surrounded by army. None of them seem to have particularly noticed you yet. Like, Thraxenhao just roared through here. So you kind of have a round where you're a little bit unseen if you want to try and figure
Right.
something out.
I'm immediately just as I'm imagining that Owlin falls just not maybe a couple seconds after I did. As soon as he hits the ground, I'm just tossing mud on him,
Oh, okay.
smearing him up. I'm also smearing it into myself a bit. I want to make us look unrecognizable a little bit.
So are you trying to hide in the mud or look like soldiers who are dirty because Thraxenhao just flew over you?
Soldiers who are dirty.
Okay, so both of you roll deception with advantage.
Here's
Alright.
the roll to see through you.
Nat 20. Thank you for the advantage.
Let's go.
16.
Let's go. With a 15, the soldiers, they, a couple of them even run over and like pick you up. Like, oh my gosh, that thing is huge. And they kind of like set you back on your feet. All right, get to your positions. And they kind of, run off back.
Yeah,
into the
that
camp.
thing is really huge. This is not my normal voice.
I'm gonna be like, whoa, that was crazy. And as I say that, I'm gonna like point at one of the shadow dragons.
Yeah.
How close is the nearest one to us? I figure we're a little distance, but
Yeah,
I figure we might get lucky.
probably 50, 60 feet, something like that. They were all closed in on Thraxenhao until he bolted. So they're pretty close proximity to you.
Perfect. I'm gonna cast Fairy Fire
Oh, nice.
on the shadow thing.
Okay.
It's just outlined in bright blue.
Roll stealth with disadvantage to maintain your deception.
Sure.
Can Alan try to assist by like pretending like Alan lost his footing a little bit and needs Fox to support him up and like make like Fox reaching out his arm look like Fox is like giving him a hand to help him up?
Sure. I will also give them disadvantage then.
All right. I got 16.
They got a 10. So they don't notice as you cast Fairy Fire and one of the dragons is there. But a call does go up, Spellcaster, Spellcaster! And they begin looking around for whoever the Spellcaster is. So
All right.
future tension die may apply to your disguises.
Come on, we gotta get to the med tent, bro. That was crazy.
We
Yeah.
zoom back up into the sky where Jeb is hanging off the side of Thraxenhao, engaged in a fight with one ice dragon. What's up, Wash? You're making big smile.
I just messaged Jake something. What's going on? We're up in the sky?
You're up in the sky fighting with one. Thraxenhao is vertical, so you would need to climb to get back to the top of his head. You've caught yourself somewhere on his neck, so you could like climb to a shoulder or something. Like to get a vantage point to aim at the shadow dragon.
Okay. Yes. So I don't have a vantage point here.
No.
Okay. What you said that was an acrobatics check or
Athletics.
Athletics check. Well, that's not good. The roll was actually pretty good. That is a very respectable 16 from this
16.
tiny little wizard mole folk.
Wind whipping through your hair, your hat trying to lift off your head at every opportunity. Jeb is able to just claw over claw, climb his way up to Thraxenhao's shoulder. You are now looking. Thraxenhao, his front two legs are holding the dragon by the throat. So you can see that that's how he dragged it through the camp and up the side of the cast iron tub. And he's now roaring up there. You can feel the air beginning to chill as he charges his breath weapon. And he snarls in the face of the other dragon. He says, "You are a mockery of a dragon." And he begins kind of charging his attack.
I'm just going to sunbeam. I'm going to say, yeah, you're not as cool as my friend Thraxenhao. And just, he needs to make a constitution saving throw.
Okay. Uh-oh. Oh, it hung on the nat 20 for a long time before it finished rolling. It is an 8 on the die. That's a constitution save.
Yep.
13.
Gotta beat a 16.
It does not beat a 16.
26 radiant damage.
26 radiant damage.
And if it could be doubled.
Yep.
Be doubled.
26 radiant damage blasts into it, and it literally like carves a sunbeam shaped hole through its shoulder. And you hear the sound of children laughing as the limbo energy scatters back into chaos of this shadow dragon. It roars in pain and anger and defiance of Thraxenhao, rearing back its head, kind of snarling. And it uses its breath weapon to attack Thraxenhao. You see this wave of ghostly purple flame kind of rush out of its mouth. And Thraxenhao makes a save. It goes very poorly. You see Thraxenhao, like some of the scales and skin around his face and his neck begin to almost get gangrene and like rot off of him as the breath weapon of this dragon hits it. And Thraxenhao actually releases his hold on the dragon's neck, and the dragon flares its wings out and spins into a kind of a pursuit position. I'm going to roll a tension die. It does not catch up to him and get another bite in this turn. We jump back down to the ground level where Owlin and Fox are headed to the med bay, I guess.
Yes, actually, the med tent.
We're heading to the med tent.
Okay, yeah, you head to one of the med tents. There are several in the camp.
Alan is one of their spellcasters got to me. I need greater restoration.
My friend needs some greater restoration over here. Come on, it's somebody. Boosh over here. Come on.
Roll deception with advantage.
So that's boosh.
That was the advantage piece right there.
That was the selling point.
Yeah. The number to beat is 17.
Wait, who's rolling at me
Alan
or are you sure it's a
Advantage.
17 that I have to
I'm
be?
With
sure it's a
advantage.
17.
Yeah, I know. I rolled a 3 on the die and then a 10 on the die.
Ooh.
So an
Ooh,
11.
It's not enough. Alan, instead of getting greater restoration, I need you to make a wisdom save.
What does that? Why? Oh, there's an aboleth in one of the freaking thingamabobbers. Freaking freak. What a freak.
What a freak.
Those aboleths
What a
are.
spaghetti freak. Come on.
Yeah, that'll learn him, the freaking freak.
That's another 11. I'm not rolling very
It's another
well.
11. Owlin has been enslaved by the aboleth. Fox, I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, shoot.
Do I
In the
not make a
med tent?
deception?
What's up?
Do I not make a deception check?
No.
Okay. All right. Hear me out.
No, guys!
11's a great number.
I agree. 11 is a great number. I wish that it was enough for this.
Was it
save.
on the die or was that total?
Total.
Fox is enslaved by the aboleth. Jeb, you are. I guess we're gonna just cut to Jeb and his fight with Thraxenhao for now. Thraxenhao, having like kind of lost his grip on the other dragon, he's going to immediately arc and dive. Because you're on his shoulder, that means you're basically being flattened against his shoulder. So Jeb does not lose his purchase or his grip or anything like that. But Thraxenhao is diving straight down back towards the camp. He's going to attack one of the other dragons. As he slams into the camp, there's a ton of collateral damage. And you know what? This is how much I love you. That collateral damage, we're going to roll to see if the med tent is one of the things that gets quote unquote bombed
Please.
by dive bombing Thraxenhao. Okay.
Bombed by the dragon.
We're gonna let Trevor roll. We're gonna keep it so honest. Trevor's gonna roll.
Nice.
Trevor's gonna roll a let's see. Let's have Trevor roll a percentile die.
Okay.
And we're gonna say it's a smallish army camp because they were split into thirds.
Okay.
So Thraxenhao probably makes up a good 40% of the camp. So
So you said he was like 90 feet long or something like that. He's a big boy.
So Fox and Owlin, do you want the top 40% or the bottom 40%?
Ooh, do we want 60 and above, or do we want below 40?
We want top 40 radio hits of today.
All right.
That
Okay.
sounds good.
Trevor,
Let's
is
go.
the roll 60 or above?
I haven't rolled yet. I was waiting. For you.
Roll the
Um,
D100.
I did. You guys will not be happy.
Oh no!
It is
Don't
a
tell me you got, like-
59.
59.
I was literally about to say, don't say it's 59.
It's
it's
a
59.
59.
It wouldn't have mattered either way.
Yeah, it wouldn't have
See,
mattered
that would
anyway.
have missed both.
See, you guys should have picked the third option, the middle 40%.
Middle 40%.
Middle 40. That's the radio hits we all want to hear.
As a middle 40, I approve.
With a huge concussive impact on the ground. Tents go flying, soldiers are knocked over, draconians are dying in little spurts of acidy explosions. Owlin and Fox, both of you are commanded by the aboleths to catapult yourselves back onto Thraxenhao. at the nearest catapult machine. You find one in good operable order.
Great. Good for us. I'm glad.
Yes.
This is a reminder. You pull this thing back, and then it flings us, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
If
Does-
we fail our decks, then maybe we'll get bopped again.
Yeah.
Here's hoping we fail and slam into the side of an angry ice dragon.
And
So
regain our composure.
when
Just swing Badger Tavern
do
things.
we fling ourselves this turn, or do we do it?
You're gonna fling this turn. This would
Okay.
have been the command from when you were enslaved. So you've positioned yourself. This is the launch. So you see Jeb. You see Fox and Owlin soaring back through the air. They have somehow heroically found another catapult and are on their way to help you
Good on them.
as they soar towards Thraxenhao.
Okay.
What do we roll? Is it dex?
Acrobatics, if you're
Acrobatics.
trained in it, and actually, we said that Fox could use acrobatics and you could use athletics last time, so that we'll do that again.
I would love it if Alan could use acrobatics this time.
You know what? I'll allow it. It's allowed.
I was actually going to argue against and be like, in terms of
Yeah, that's an 8. I think Alan has to get bopped. That's an 8.
So
He slams right into it. Oh,
as a reminder, I will stay with acrobatics.
Okay.
Because I'm enslaved.
Mm-hmm.
okay.
As you do.
Alan will be enslaved too. He'll act in his best interests. So that's actually a 14 for Alan.
Okay. Alan still failed.
Okay,
Nice. And you get to keep your honor. Good on you.
Failed honorably.
So I just want you to know I have a modifier of a 9
Okay.
in my acrobatics. I rolled a 2 on the die, baby.
Wow.
Nice.
Jeb, for the second time, watches his companions heroically sail through the air towards Thraxenhao and heroically slam into his leg. Both of you roll Constitution saves to maintain consciousness.
You're like, this
Did
is
we
on
also
brand.
roll a wisdom save again? Because we got bopped.
Yeah, you can roll
technically?
your wisdom saves as well.
19.
Okay.
All right. I rolled my constitution first.
Okay.
I am unconscious.
Okay. Your enslavement is broken. Unconsciousness breaks it.
Oh, I had a
Oh,
16.
okay.
I had a 16 con and an 18 and a 19 save.
Okay. You can
nice.
go ahead and
Wisdom.
roll a strength save to catch yourself and climb up, just like last time. And Fox will fall unconscious, just like last time.
But am I not enslaved anymore with the 19?
You're not enslaved. Yep.
Let's
Neither
go!
of you is enslaved.
One way or another.
Mission failed successfully.
Nice.
Alan got a 12 to climb up.
Alan got a 12 to climb up. Alan, it's slow going, but you eventually make it up
Okay.
there. You'll miss like the next round. Fox, you're unconscious. You fall back off of Thraxenhao
no.
and to the ground. Alan, you see Fox is unconscious. You know.
Oh, can Alan try to like athletics save or strength save grab him?
Make,
Or no?
Make a strength save at disadvantage because you're having trouble climbing already. So make your strength save at disadvantage.
Oh, that's gonna be bad. Yeah, that's an 8.
That's an 8. It's not enough.
Yeah.
Jeb, you also see Fox falling unconscious off of Thraxenhao.
Is he around Thraxenhao's feet?
Yes. He bounced off
That
his
is
leg.
not good.
Yeah. And that brings us to the bad guy's turn.
I believe I get another sunbeam,
Oh,
unless
okay.
I'm mistaken.
Yep, go ahead and sunny side up.
Is the one
Sunny
flying
side
like
up.
still up on the upper side of the blizzard?
It's chasing you. It's in pursuit.
Okay, well, I would like to have it make a Constitution saving throw, as I want to try burn another hole through preferably through its face and down through its neck and out its bottom.
Okay.
That's what I would like to do.
Yeah.
I was about to say, I'm imagining as this thing dives forward, you're like, no. You just skewer it on the
Engulf it.
sunbeam.
Yeah.
Did it save?
Oh, I forgot to
DC
roll.
16 con save?
We're rolling right now. It has a +5. 10.
Does not
That's a
save.
fail.
And it takes 22 radiant damage.
22 radiant damage. Actually, it takes 44 radiant damage.
Nice.
And
I'm happy about that.
It does just split down the middle.
Oh, let's go.
And it doesn't even land like on anything because it's kind of dissolving into limbo energy. So it just kind of, bursts
Dissipates.
apart, dissipates.
and you get a couple weird like sounds and shapes. You see a rainbow very briefly through the air, even though it's blizzarding up above you and stuff. Just all kinds of weird stuff is happening.
Yeah.
At the same time as that, as it breaks apart, you look up into the eyes of an aboleth suspended up above you. Teeth bared, enraged, tentacles flared out to the sides. It is attempting to intimidate you. So that would be a charisma save on your behalf. The DC to beat is a 22 to avoid being frightened.
That is literally impossible because I have a +1 charisma.
You can roll it at 20, so it's still possible. It's a 1 in 20.
I mean, yeah.
That's a 5% chance.
5% chance.
5% chance to look like a badass. All right, just saying.
90% mental,
here we go.
5% physical, 5% chance.
I'm gonna
to
roll
look like
my clear classic red
100%
D20.
chance to remember the name.
That's where I thought that was going to.
Jeb's gonna holler out, "Remember me!"
Witness me.
That is a 3.
Oh,
It's
So
a 3.
4 total.
Jeb is terrified. You can either stand still or move away from the aboleth, but as long as you can see it, those are your 2 available options, as well as a charisma save, which you can take at the end of each turn to try and overcome your fear.
What were the 2 options?
You can
Stand
sit still or you can move away from the aboleth.
Okay. I'm gonna roll. Would you roll something for me, DM?
Yeah.
I just need to know an even odd. If you want to flip a fun coin or something like that, you can do that too. I need to know. I don't know if Jeb would fight or flight because he's already got this sunbeam like blaring out.
Okay.
And I don't know if he would run away from this thing or just fire it, like stand still and fire it in his direction.
Okay. What do you want even to be and what do you want odd to be?
Let's see. Turn tail and run. So tails to run, and heads to stand his ground.
I always thought tails on people were a little odd.
As in, like, he turned tail and ran? I get it.
Yeah.
Jeb does not turn tail and run. He's sitting still.
Okay. But he's frozen.
Yeah, he's basically frozen. Not frozen in the mechanical way, but he's he's trapped in place basically.
You can still action economy stuff.
Yeah.
You just have disadvantage on ability checks and attack rolls.
Which luckily a sunbeam is not either of those.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. The aboleth, having intimidated you, is going to turn its attention to Thraxenhao, who's going to roll a wisdom save.
Is it just floating in the air?
Yes.
Okay. That was weird.
Thraxenhao does not pass his wisdom save.
Yo, what?
Thraxenhao comes to a skidding halt in the middle of the battlefield and stands still.
We never thought of the worst possible outcome.
No, we did not.
I thought he'd get like legendary resistances or something.
Jeb.
That's fair. He would probably use a legendary resistance on that. He would probably choose to succeed there. I wasn't thinking about those because I always think of them in a combat circumstance where he's looking for a thing to succeed on there. But you're right. He would absolutely use a legendary resistance on that. So the aboleth seems to focus on Thraxenhao, and for a moment you see his like the animal cunning goes to battle with like the political intrigue. And then he snaps up and he says, "No, fish!" And he launches himself towards the aboleth. He's going to soar in its direction and roll an attack. Ooh, and he nat ones on his attempt to attack the aboleth. He rushes towards the aboleth, and before he can get there, the aboleth vanishes from where it was suspended. And Thraxenhao is not able to hit it. However, Thraxenhao is able to drag, I think, all three of you, right? Did we pick up Fox? Or did we leave?
Fox is unconscious on the ground.
Okay, Fox is unconscious. The other two of you, Thraxenhao launches out of the camp with as he flies through where the aboleth was. However, he whips around so fast when the aboleth disappears, like he's hunting. He whips around and he hovers in place with one huge wing beat. He takes in the whole camp looking for where the aboleth went. He comes to the conclusion that it must be in the cast iron thing, and he lands on it and begins frost breathing on the roof of it to freeze the cast iron. The army below, of course, is freaking out at the sight of this.
Fish sickle.
I'm gonna roll a tension die to see if Fox gets trampled in the rush.
No,
wait.
Go ahead.
I was unconscious, and I'd probably take fall damage, which was never told to me.
Okay.
Do I take a chance to wake up from the fall damage?
Sure. Take 1d6 of fall damage and roll a Constitution save. DC straight 10 to wake up.
Sleeping peacefully, and then
17
you
on
get
the die.
17 on the die. You're awake. Fox wakes up, so he
baseball
just
bat
like
to the
blacks out, wakes up, and in the space between when you blacked out and when you woke up, Thraxenhao is gone. He's like leapt into the distance, chasing an aboleth, and then you finally, as your eyes come into focus, you see him perched 500 feet above you over the cast iron tub.
I'm gonna, while people are probably not looking at the man covered in mud in the ground, I'm gonna basically shapeshift into a middle-aged man and use my armor that can also shapeshift with me to look like what I've been seeing around me.
Absolutely.
Let's go.
That's a great idea.
I'm gonna go to the med tent again.
Because it's still standing, we've established.
yeah, that's true.
You go back to the med tent again.
And this time, I just stop me whenever, like, you need to cut to other stuff. But I'm gonna look.
You
I'm
hear
gonna remember.
Alan in your voice, in your head. 2 ciphers of greater restoration. 1 for me, 1 for Gunner. 2 ciphers of greater restoration.
I'm gonna remember what the medical staff were dressed in,
Okay.
and I'm going to, as I round the corner, shapeshift into their uniform.
Great. Make a stealth check with advantage to do the shapeshifting without being spotted. These are busy medical professionals. They're not really looking at you, even when they look at you.
16.
Oh, that's close, but you did it.
Okay.
They
Nice.
seem to just take you as one of. They kind of dismiss you as soon as you walk in the tent and go back to what they're
I'm
doing.
gonna walk into, like, one of my patients needs greater restoration.
Ah,
Where do we keep the
yeah.
greater
We got
restoration?
plenty of greater restorations. They're right over there, and they point over, and you can see a stack of 4 ciphers.
Grab them all.
Okay. You grab all 4 greater restorations.
And I walk out the bed camp.
Great. Out the bed camp. Meanwhile, on top of the cast iron sort of container that the aboleth is in, Thraxenhao is breathing ice breath. Owlin and Jeb are both up there. Owlin clinging for dear life onto Thraxenhao's leg muscle, like with the scale. He's just like spidered right on there. And Jeb, who's up there on the shoulder, the wind is whipping through your hair, and you get a brief moment of silence where Thraxenhao says, "Are you friend or food?"
Thraxenhao, we are friend. Actually, we are with. Do you remember Fox from a couple days
He's
ago?
with me. He's with me.
We are friend, not food.
You with the bright thing.
Yes, we want to kill that thing, that fish in the box too.
Ah, the fish is in this box.
Yes,
And
we
then
would love
his,
to make it a fish sickle.
his breath weapon has finished recharging, and he breathes another round of frost breath onto the box.
Can I be firing at shadow dragons nearby while this is happening?
I'm
casually?
glad you say that. As you look to the side, you can see 2 shadow dragons on either side of the box looking up towards Thraxenhao. Both of their mouths are open to use their breath weapon. You may get 1 attack in before they do it.
Are they lined up in such a way that this 60-foot, 5-foot?
No, they
like
are to the
60 foot
left
long
and right
would hit
of you,
both of them?
basically. Like if Thraxenhao's on a corner, they're left and right of him, so you can only hit one of them.
Well, if I'm on his shoulder, then whichever shoulder I'm on, I'm going to fire that direction.
You shoot at left dragon.
Okay, and then left dragon needs to make a con save.
Yeah, he does.
DC 16.
Left shark.
Left dragon got a 17 on the die.
Left shark.
All right, well, that means he takes 29 radiant damage, halved, and then doubled, so 29.
All right, he takes 29 radiant damage as it blasts into him. His purplish black eyes kind of glitter maliciously, and then he breathes out this this kind of ghostly like purple flame that kind of edges up and it spits over the top of the cast iron and kind of creeps up Thraxenhau's front leg and a little bit up onto his shoulder. Not quite as high as where you are, but pretty dang close. The dragon's height is such that it has to fly to keep itself in combat range. So it's not a precise hover. So it can't like get you on top of his shoulder, but it can still hit him kind of at the base of where he's standing. Thraxenhau's going to make a save. Thraxenhao succeeds on his save. The flames kind of rush up the side, and you see that same kind of gangrene creep up one claw. Or like the claws on one foot, but it doesn't go any further than that, and none of his scales kind of rot or fall off. But he still he kind of almost shudders a little bit under the impact of it, as on the other side of Thraxenhao, another one of them breathes the same kind of ghostly purple flame up. They're going to roll to hit. That's a natural 20 to hit Thraxenhao.
No.
Thraxenhao is going to roll his save. He rolls a natural 20 on his save.
Oh.
The dragon breathes out these ghostly flames. Thraxenhao,
Building up a tolerance.
faster than you might have believed possible, Thraxenhao whips his head over, looks directly into the eyes of the other dragon, and exhales ice. And where the ice and the ghostly purple flames meet, at least in this instance, the ice is overpowering. And so the purple flames turn into these sort of crystalline shards that fall back into the shadow dragon. You can tell that the dragon seems pretty resistant to this kind of damage, but it still takes some impact from this kind of reversal of its breath weapon. And then Thraxenhao rears up an angry claw and slams it down into the top of the cast iron. We're going to roll tension to see if it opens. It does not. Come out, fish! And he slams on it with his foot. Owlin and then Jeb, it will be your turns.
I mean, Owlin is not built for this sort of situation. Owlin has almost nothing he can do to help what's going on, because there's no people for him to fight really, and he's just hanging on to a leg. I guess Owlin will just try to spend a turn righting himself and getting his bearings, getting good footing on top of Thraxenhao again, and not being so precarious. On the
Owlin
leg.
does that, and as you do, you see kind of a weird disturbance or flicker in the air above Thraxenhao.
Can Owlin try to use? Does it seem magical? Could he use Arcana to try to figure out what it is?
Yeah, it seems like something might be working on projecting itself into that location.
Yeah. On the 22 Arcana, can he do anything about it based on that?
I mean, you could get close enough to try and hit it when the projection appears, but it hasn't actually arrived yet.
Okay. In that case, Owlin will try to get over there and maybe pre-rage to just get ready for that.
I wonder what that could be.
Meanwhile, on the ground, Fox, dressed as a medic, carrying 4 ciphers of greater restoration, strolling out of the med tent. What are you up to, buddy?
I'm getting the getaway vehicle ready. I'm going.
Just
I'm
like
gonna go
beep the cipher truck. It comes blasting through the camp.
Yeah.
Is that what you're actually doing?
Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
You beep the cipher truck, and it'll take a couple rounds to get to you, but it unwedges itself from the forest and then kind of launches towards you. We zoom back up to the top. Jeb, it's your turn.
I'm going to try and climb up onto Thraxenhau's head.
As you make the climb, you see the same disturbance Owlin saw, and you see him readying himself.
As I'm climbing up, do I see any moisture near Thraxenhau's eyes?
Not.
Because he has assumed quite a bit of wounds, and I'm just kind of curious.
Let's roll for that too, Trevor. I would like you to roll percentile for us, and Wash
the middle 40.
A dragon can tear up occasionally. You know?
It's so
not undraconic, does it?
It's not about tears. It's about whether they've frozen or not in his clouds of ice breath and all the rest of that.
Oh well, he's been ice breathing a lot.
So we're gonna do yes. That's what I'm saying. So we're gonna give it a 20% chance. And
I think he's been ice breathing like at least 80% of the time.
Jake, no, that makes it more icy. Ice breath is why they're not liquid tears, because he breathes out a cloud of ice and it causes all the liquid to crystallize into ice. So it's not. I guess you need a frozen dragon's tear. So actually, you're right. Go ahead and roll with an 80% chance. Jake and Cleo, you're gonna decide whether it's the top 80 or the bottom 80.
All right.
In Josh's defense, I said moisture, like I was liquid tear. You know,
I see.
I say we say it's the top 80s.
Yeah, the top 80s.
I was born in the top 80s.
Born in the top 80s.
Top 80s.
Okay.
So just don't roll a 20 or below. Whoever is rolling it.
Is it a
That's
19?
me. No, it's a 24.
It's a 24.
Oh,
there are some crystallized tears up there by his face. So are you going to try and how are you going to capture them?
I mean, if they're crystallized, I'm just going to pick them up for now.
Okay. You grab a tear. It is very, very fragile. Make a dexterity check or a sleight of hand if you're trained in it to handle it.
Ah, shit.
Am I trained in sleight of hand?
I highly doubt it.
No, I'm not.
Wait,
I mean,
wait.
he's a gambler though. So
Callback all the way to episode 1.
was that?
Fox taught him how to pick a lock, and can he take half proficiency?
I'll give him advantage. I won't give him proficiency. I'll give him advantage. That's a great callback.
That's pretty great.
Jeb, having
love
left
it.
Fox, as far as he knows, unconscious on the ground of the army, it's just like, what would Fox do in this situation? Probably pass out.
Oh,
That is an 11.
And it was just a DC 10, so you're fine.
right.
Okay, now in my defense, it's September 11th and it's exactly 11 p.m. and I rolled an 11.
Yeah.
That means something.
That's pretty
So-
magical.
It
Maybe
means something.
I would take that excuse to give you the rod of luck, but you have it. So this is why you have it. Maybe it's because of the rod of luck. Sometimes you wonder if a name shapes a thing or if a thing shapes its name. You unfortunately are not lucky enough with this particular tier. He has multiple tiers. We've established that they are there on his face, but you're going to need to find a way to store them and transport them, as this one kind of shatters in your hands.
Crumble? Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
It's like a very thin bubble that's got ice around it, you know? Perhaps some kind of its draconic property is what makes it so difficult to handle. Who knows? But as that's happening, we come around to the turns of Thraxenhao's foes and your foes as a group here. And so I'm going to roll a tension die.
Was that I guess that was probably my action. Does my sunbeam still fire off?
Oh, sure. Yeah, go ahead and hit someone with Sunbeam. I don't know how many rounds that lasts, so I'm just going to let you monitor that.
10 rounds. Yeah,
Okay.
it's like no, it's 10 minutes.
Oh, dang.
No, I'm sorry, it's a minute. 10
It's a
rounds.
minute.
My
Okay.
bad.
Yep.
My bad.
Okay.
36 damage, Constitution saving throw at the one on the left shoulder.
Yep.
Or on
Left
the
Dragon.
left.
You've been
Yep.
going after Left Dragon this whole time.
Not this whole time, but yeah.
That is a 12 on the Constitution save.
So he takes 72 radiant damage.
72 radiant damage. You blast into this dragon. Its wings are actually fried off by the radiant damage as it kind of arcs out of the way and it kind of skids along its back. The dragon is still alive, barely. It is hanging by its claws on the cast iron. It has clawed onto the top of it, so its little claws are right near Thraxenhao's feet. Thraxenhao's going to use a legendary action. He kind of turns his head. It almost looks like he's winking at you. And then he lifts up one of his great huge claws and slams it down on the feet.
Long live the
other
Shadow
dragon.
Dragon.
Yeah. He just, Scar and Mufasa is this guy. And yeah, for sure wins that argument.
as the shadow dragon falls downwards. Fox, you stroll out of the med tent just in time to see a shadow dragon plummet from the top of the 500. They're big, but they're still only like 100 feet or 90 feet long or whatever. So 500 feet is a pretty huge fall as this thing lands on the ground, dissipates into chaos energy, and some of the chaos energy doesn't turn into harmless sensory effects. Some of the chaos energy turns into like big booms. And somewhere in the distance, you feel Gunner's spirit soar a little bit, as like some stuff catches on fire. A little concussive force knocks things over, and just a little gust of wind probably blows across your hair or whatever.
I just nod my head like,
yeah,
things are going well up there. Then
I'm gonna take this opportunity to cut back to the airship where I imagine with their clear view of the battle, Gunner is probably in the cockpit having a heated argument with Bruiser.
I just think we'd be missing a completely easy opportunity that's been given to us. I still have this, and he holds up a Nomengard grenade, and this, and he holds up a fragmentation grenade. I think it would be a crime for us not to at least swing over there and let me drop these.
You do realize we're on a plane full of civilians who are not trained to fight in any capacity whatsoever.
To be honest, I hadn't really thought about that.
Like, if it was just you and me, I'd be all for going back and being the heroes of the day. But we have other people we're responsible for getting to safety.
I think that's fair. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go run to the back of the ship and try to think about how far I can throw these. Gunner's gonna do that.
in my mind's eye, I don't know why, but I just imagine like Gunner's just like, you know what? I think that's fair. And just rushes for controls anyway to like
No.
And then
No.
when Gunner runs off, Bruiser turns to Radford and Bradford's like, see, this is how we control an airship in a storm. Did you guys get all that?
Radford is like, he's not even paying attention. He's just, I'm so glad you're doing this.
They're playing checkers. Like Bradford is sitting on the floor cross-legged with Radford. They're playing checkers. Every time there's even a tiny bit of list in the airship, they complain like, "You're messing up our game."
Is there any chance that Gunner can throw either of his explosives far enough to do any help in the battle?
Here's what I'll do, Gunner. I'll tell you. You can absolutely try. Gunner, you can, if you roll a acrobatics or athletics check higher than, what is the ceiling for his rolls? I want this to be possible.
25 is the best he can do with athletics.
Okay.
Acrobatics is 22.
Okay.
outside of a natural 20.
Outside of a natural.
If he rolls an athletics higher than 21, then I'll let him throw that grenade exactly on the point he chooses.
Okay.
You can say where and when, and like you can decide as we're following the flow of the rest of the fight where Gunner's grenade just lands in the middle of everything.
Oh, okay, cool.
21 or higher.
I'm gonna roll. And does he only get a chance with one of them, the Nomengard grenade, or does he get a chance with both?
The fragmentation grenade would do so little damage compared to the scope of the battle that it only makes sense with the Nomengard.
Okay, sounds good.
I love how this is like a preemptive ocean.
Yeah.
Don't tell me you got a non-nat 20.
He has an inspiration. He's gonna reroll. I got a nat 1.
It's good that you re-rolled because a nat
Don't let
1
that
was
go
going
off
into
in
the ship. Yeah.
That's only a 16. It did not make it.
Okay. Somewhere a little family of snakes or something is having a very bad afternoon, or morning as the battle rages on. We cut back to Jeb and folks. There's what's left. I think one more of the enemy dragons has an attack on Thraxenhao, and then we're back to hero turns. It's gonna roll.
Roll poorly.
It did roll poorly. Its breath weapon doesn't recharge in time for this, and so it's not able to make another attack. That is the hero's turn.
Don't forget your sunbeams.
What are you doing, small creature?
I would like, please, to have one of these really cool tiers for like I'm a magic guy, and it looks like it's got magic in it. And could I have one, please? They're just so
Thraxenhao does
pretty.
not cry.
I'd like to worship it.
Worship is nice. Roll persuasion with advantage.
Thraxenhao does not cry, but worship is nice.
That is a natural 1
No.
and a natural 20.
What? The rod of luck. Let's go. Thraxenhao was like, worship is nice. You may have. And he stops moving for a second to make it easier. So this will give you advantage on however you're going to try and carry the tier. Use this well. You can devise other methods. You don't have to use sleight of hand.
Load it into a shell.
How big are they, or how do I know how big it needs to be?
They're probably like half the size of Jeb. Like just based on how big a dragon's head is and its eyes and everything.
Well, how much do we need? Yeah, that's a good point.
You just need a frozen dragon's tear.
And
That's
does any
half the
amount
size of Jeb.
could you have one that's small enough to put in a shell, and does that count as a tier?
I don't know. The ones that Thraxenhao has are not that small.
Okay. You can't just break that Kit Kat bar.
Dang it.
Kit
You know,
Kat
tears, just like Kit Kat.
Break me off a piece of that frozen tier.
Pause. Take a frozen tear break.
Okay. I have a thing, but I'm going to have to drop the sunbeam to do it.
Oh,
And I don't want to do that, but we're here for the tier.
we're here for the tier. He's letting you do it right now.
I'd say be greedy. I'd say roll another sleight of hand and at advantage.
Fox pops up on your shoulder. a little fox shoulder angel.
And just keep sunbeaming away.
I will say, thank you very much, sir. Let's kill this dragon first. Let's kill this abomination first. Is that okay? Does he look okay about that, or does he look kind of like
Talking to
doubting?
Thraxenhao.
Yeah. Josh is kind of quiet and it's making me a little uncomfortable.
I'm thinking.
I know you're thinking.
It's way harder for me to put myself in the mind space of the like animal cunning character than it is for any of my other. Like I can have low intelligence
You know
characters.
what?
I think
don't
he
think-
probably could be persuaded to do this.
I don't think Jeb would actually push that. I think that's me trying to min-max things, and I don't like that. Can I
Sure.
retcon that?
Yep.
Jeb is going to drop the sunbeam,
Okay.
and he is going to, because there's only one dragon left, right?
There's only one dragon left.
Yeah, one dragon left. And I'm gonna cast reduce on the
Good idea.
tier, and so it's gonna shrink it down to half size, which would be a quarter of Jeb's size, and I would imagine that would like remove it from there as well.
Yeah, it kind of like pops off his eye.
So he's just gonna like put his hands on it, like hold it underneath like a basketball, duct taped to a tree, and he's just gonna be like, zoop, and
Sure. Roll sleight of
Hang
hand
on
with
to it.
triple advantage.
oh, it burns my. I let go of my sunbeam, and you're gonna still roll for it. Oh, okay, that's okay. I love you. I appreciate you. You brought me a lot.
High power games, high power stakes.
You brought me a lot of ginger ale.
I did get you 24 ginger ales, and you drank, kid you not, 18 of them over that weekend.
No, hey, I probably had 6 of those. So he
Okay,
probably had
he
a
got
dozen.
12.
I probably had 6.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
12 is a respectable number.
12.
I'm gonna
This
get
is-
some on
is a
Amazon
magic
when I get
number.
the chance.
17.
That's enough, right? That's enough, totally.
The
Please
tear
let it.
bows a little bit in your hands, and then bows back out and holds its shape. Jeb is now holding the tear.
And then it shattered.
Well, you're still standing on Thraxenhao, so you probably want to not be doing that soon. But you have the
can
tear in your
do
possession.
it. Yeah, it's not like
Wrap
Can
it in
I-
your bedroll. Do something to pad it.
if I press it, it's gonna crush though. Like does it feel like because you said it was like
yes,
a bubble?
it's hollow. It's like a bubble.
so it's like we need to be ginger. We don't need to be like
I'm gonna roll a tension die.
I
Feel
can
so
I
alive?
can I cast another spell, please?
I don't know if you can do that this turn.
I don't, but I really want to.
Alan, what do you want to do this turn?
No. Can I give Jeb my turn, DM? Can he like? Can I not do anything with him? Can I just
Okay, if Jeb says that in Jeb's voice, it's going to be far less persuasive.
Hold on.
Okay,
Let me,
well,
look up what
it's
one of my
like-
spells does. Let me
It's
look
like
up what one of my
Fox
spells.
showing up in a brand new car going, we found an angel investor.
Oh, did my sunbeam go off this round as well? Oh no! Wow, I
You dropped
Never
it.
mind.
Yep.
Yep.
Hold on.
I told you not to.
No, it's fine. It's fine. This is important.
Important enough to the break.
Dropped a 7th level spell for it.
Oh no, it's on
Second level.
yourself. It's not against other people. It's not on other people. I thought maybe you could cast shield on someone else, but it's only on yourself.
No, shield's a reaction for yourself.
Okay.
I'm gonna add a die to the tension pool. and passage
Well,
of time
okay,
here
hold on.
as we go.
The aboleth hasn't appeared yet, right?
It is going to fade into visibility this turn. So if you want to just like delay your action and hit it when it shows up, you can do that.
Okay, yeah, that's out. That's Alan's intent.
Cool. Fox, down on the ground. You're waiting on the car. It's not here yet. Are you doing anything else or just waiting on the car?
It's gonna come to me no matter what, right?
Yeah,
No
it'll
matter if I
come to the
move.
key.
All right, I'm just gonna like move next to something that looks important.
Just find a dead person to operate on real quick.
Yeah. There's plenty of wounded around. I'll just be like rushing around, and I'll look for something important to like stop and think about where I should go.
Sure. Roll investigation.
Yeah.
Maybe perception. This is probably a perception because you're rushing.
16.
16. You find a number of important looking things, but most importantly, you find a bank of those arcane batteries.
I'm just gonna stand probably about like I'm gonna think about where this car is coming from, and I'm gonna stand about 60 feet away from the bank.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Okay. Great. The aboleth fades into visibility, triggers Alan's delayed action. Alan, it
Alan
is right
going
above you, melee range.
Alan is going to use his last rage, so it's going to do the lightning damage. So it has to make a dex save, DC 15, and then he's going to do the double attack.
19 on the die for the deck save.
Okay, so that makes it the lightning strikes, but it misses, or somehow the aboleth jukes it. I don't know.
Yeah. It probably hasn't finished materializing. Like Alan's a little too eager, and so it like hasn't
That's
actually
fair.
occupied the space yet.
Nat 20 on one of the attacks and
Yeah.
22 on the other attack.
Both hit.
So the nat 20 attack does. Oh, I rolled min damage for a nat 20 attack. That's awesome. So that's 7 plus.
Describe the attack for flavor. It's projecting itself, so you're going to dispel it. Basically, it's not going to be able to try and enslave anyone.
Okay, that's great. I rolled min damage for everything, which is hilarious.
So Alan, like maybe just the very tip of his sword hits it.
Yeah, Alan will it's like, okay, he's a little overeager on the rage lightning strike, but then when the aboleth appears, he like does this like impressive, like very rehearsed, like two slice, like kind of move with his hands. But somehow the aboleth has projected itself just at the distance where only the tip of the blade hits.
Nice.
It. And it does that's 13 damage total.
Awesome. 3 things happen at once. Thraxenhao rears up on his hind legs and slams both of his front legs down on the top of the cast iron and it shatters. Like the front corner of it shatters. Thraxenhao flares his wings out to catch himself, but the cast iron is wrecked. Jeb, I'm going to need a dexterity save to protect the tier you're holding. You're being really ginger and protective of it, so I'm going to give you advantage. I'm assuming you've maneuvered yourself to somewhere because you knew he was doing this, where you could protect it pretty hardcore.
Okay.
I want this for you.
You.
You dropped a 7th level spell for this.
Savage.
Yeah. Can I cast the spell instead?
If it doesn't have any somatic components, your hands are full.
That's true. Let me look it up real quick. It does not.
Okay. I'll allow it.
So Jeb has holstered Big Boy and I guess holstered his blunderbuss and is holding this thing in his hands.
Like a basketball.
And like a song echoing out through the night that Fox maybe recognizes and hears. He says, "Magic tunnel, magic tunnel." And I'm going to cast magic tunnel and transport.
I'm going to hum along.
Can I hear where he is and
Where
magic
Fox
tunnel
is?
to Fox? Yeah.
I don't think you have any way of knowing
Okay.
where Fox is.
Well, I'm going to survey the ground for a place that is inconspicuous. And
What's
I'm
the
going
range?
to magic 500 feet.
Oh, perfect.
And
Okay.
I am on Thraxenhao's shoulder.
So you're probably going to appear like 2 feet above the ground or whatever, but like that's fine.
Yeah.
So maybe you time it with when he slams into the cast iron so that you're at ground level. So sure, you appear on the ground.
Just as it's slow motion, he's like, hurrah. And Jeb's like, magic tunnel.
You appear on the ground. Trevor, roll a d4. Jake, roll a d4. If they match, you appear at the corner that Fox is at.
Oh,
Nice.
okay.
2.
Is it a 2? Another 2?
I got a 4.
You are not at the same corner as Fox. But Fox does hear the song echoing out in the night. There is a third thing that happens, however. The third thing is that the Cypher truck blasts through a bank of arcane batteries. Gunnar, standing on the back of an airship, having just thrown his Gnomengard grenade, hears a huge explosion and sees something off in the camp. I think Gunnar has no way of knowing that was not his grenade.
Gunnar does like a big fist pump. He's like, "Yes, I did my part." And then he like saunters back to where Bruiser is, and just like is like happy and
Look,
ready to
I'm
assist.
telling you guys, I can't stop the chessboard from moving when I turn the airship.
What? Oh, yeah, physics.
I love
All
that
right.
I love that we just basically resolved Gunnar's character. It's like, what's left for him after this? Gunnar like retires in the countryside and blows up mountains for a living. Okay, so we zoom back now to where Owlin, standing alone on Thraxenhau's head, is
And he saw the not teleportation, but magic tunneling of Jeb go away.
Owlin leans forwards. You can see Jeb standing on the ground humming to himself, trying to look inconspicuous, holding a frozen dragon's tear. Enlarge
just puts
reduce
his
is not
hands up.
concentration, is it?
Sorry?
Enlarge or reduce is not concentration, is it?
It is concentration, but it lasts for like a minute.
Yeah, but wouldn't your magic tunnel have broken your concentration?
It is not a concentration spell.
Oh, okay. Okay, great. So
Believe me, I checked.
Yeah.
If Alan, okay, so Alan has a 500-foot drop
he does.
to how has he taken that much fall damage before? I'm trying to remember how much that is.
That's terminal velocity.
Yeah, fall
That's
damage
terminal
caps
velocity.
at 20 d6, so
All right.
you'd be taking 20 d6 of fall damage.
All right. Okay.
And this turn he's raging, so like if
I
he
know.
wants to do it,
I know. Because at that, okay. Oh, the worst that could happen to him is to go unconscious if he's raging. If all.
Don't you have? Doesn't he have a barbarian thing where like if you fall unconscious while you're raging?
I
Like,
really
you
want this
return with
ability
1
to
hit
exist.
points?
No, I don't see that as something I've written down at least. But yeah, I think Alan might just say screw it, and he's done this before. Well, no, he could take an injury. He took an injury last time this happened.
So if I can, you at 11th level you should have something called Relentless Rage, which means
But he's multi-classed.
I am multi-class.
He's not 11 levels of barbarian.
Okay, my bad.
I am multi-class. So instead, oh, okay. Here's what Alan's going to try to do. He is going to if he gets off, if he like takes some movement to get off of Thraxenhao, but onto the. Okay, is it possible for him to get off of Thraxenhao, use his great sword, which is not his scimitar of speed, like so he's not risking destroying his scimitar of speed. Use his great sword to kind of stab it into the side of the cube and let that like just
Into
like
cast
scratch
iron?
down.
I mean, he can try.
What? Okay.
You have a green flame blade locked in there.
Oh, I do.
You can give it a go.
Would Green Flame Blade give it a better chance? Maybe.
I
Somehow?
don't think so.
What about a magic weapon? Would his Scimitar of Speed theoretically be able to pierce cast iron better?
Here's what I'll tell you.
Okay.
I will give you advantage on the check with the Scimitar of Speed, but the risk will be that the Scimitar of Speed irreparably breaks if you get it wrong. So this is a high risk, high reward situation here for Alan. But if he pulls it off, like he'll pull it off the whole way down.
Okay,
Bro.
and then but the greatsword would not get advantage.
No, the greatsword would not get advantage.
Bro, we've fallen a mile.
Okay,
Just saying.
Alan
What's
is
100
brand.
feet?
Alan is going to use the greatsword and not the Scimitar of Speed.
Okay.
And is going to attempt to leap off of the dragon and stab the greatsword into the cast iron. What kind of check is that? Is that athletics?
You're going to make an attack.
Attack. All right.
Yep.
That's totally fine. That's the same roll.
And you're
Oh,
not trying to
boy.
like pierce it, are you? You're trying to like scratch it into it and like drag, like have it slow you going down.
That would need it to pierce it.
Yeah,
for that to
piercing
work.
would be great. Piercing would be incredible.
Yeah. The DC is high.
Okay. Well,
Howland is capable.
But so is my confidence in Alan.
that's a 23.
I set the DC at 22. Alan
go!
stabs into the
What?
side of it with his
Let's
sword. You have
go!
stabbed into the cast iron. Now there is another component to this, which is that you've now stabbed into the cast iron to slow your fall. You need to find that angle where like it continues cutting so that you fall slowly instead of stopping 300 feet in the air. I think this is probably a sword master's intuition, and so I would accept survival.
With a little bit of engineering.
Yeah, well, no, I don't think I would accept an artificer type check because he's not using artificer tools.
But maybe it's an intelligence survival check.
Oh.
Yeah, I could see that. I would take intelligence survival for this.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will take that any day. I appreciate the advocacy, Wash.
I'm here for the other four guys.
Yeah.
That is a 25.
A 25. Alan finds that angle he needs, and he rides the sword down the cast iron the whole way down to the ground. The cipher truck is there and waiting. Fox back in his home base in the driver's seat of the cipher truck, which Owlin always drove because the one time Fox drove it, he scratched it on the walls of Tumbleweb. Fox is in the driver's seat. I guess this time he scratched it on a bank of arcane batteries. It's like scorched all up the sides. It's all it's
these
dinged
things
and scratched
happen.
from the trees that you wedged it between when you arrived, and now it's all scorched and whatever, or that Bruiser wedged it between. So now you have your cipher truck. Are you all just bailing? You're on your way out?
Yeah, I think it's just.
I'm looking to pick up Jeb, and we're getting the hell out of
Do
here.
we have the tier? Do we have the tier?
Are we out of initiative?
You need to get to Jeb, which takes where I'm not going to put you in combat, but I'm going to do 2 more tension die to see if
Okay.
Jeb is jostled or accosted.
So here's the thing. I would like to do something that probably would circumvent that.
Okay.
It looks like it looks like from the tension die we're fine.
Okay.
Yeah. So the truck, it's just like driving around the cube. Howlin's like, I know he's around here somewhere because I saw him when I leaned over. So you're like driving around. You finally come to a stop in front of him. Directly above you, Thraxenhao is still arched over the edge of the corner where he broke the thing, and he's reaching. His neck is kind of expanded inside. His voice reverberating around the 500 foot cast iron tub. Come out, fishy. Just kind of looking around, and there you hear an ice breath kind of gush outwards. You all successfully escape. I'm gonna resolve the combat between Thraxenhao and the Aboleth in
To see who wins.
Yeah, we're gonna do it in
How does 2 legendary people fight?
this one. We're gonna resolve
Bigly.
with 4 opposed rolls, and they're just gonna be straight D20s because I think it honestly is a toss up between whether Thraxenhao is enslaved or killed, or whether Thraxenhao gets just powers through and kills the Aboleth. So what's going to happen is each of you is going to roll a d20,
Oh.
and I'm going to roll 4 d20. And we're
Do we
gonna
know who
see-
we're rolling for, each of us? I
I'm
see.
gonna
We're
I'm
rolling
gonna
for
roll.
Thraxenhao.
Yeah, you're all rolling on Thraxenhao's behalf, and I'm gonna roll on the Aboleth's behalf. And
All right.
we'll go
I'm
in
just gonna tell
reverse
y'all.
order. So Jake's gonna be the last roll, and Wash will be the first.
All right, here we go.
All right, Wash. The first
Come on,
Aboleth
Thraxie.
roll. Yep, the first Aboleth roll is. Oh, it's a 5 on the die. Who wins the first round of this?
14.
Let's go.
14. All right. So and just to clarify, Thraxenhao needs these 4 wins to win.
He needs all 4?
Yes. Because there's
Well,
an army
the
supporting the
Aboleth-
Aboleth.
Okay.
And 1 more shadowy dragon.
He is outnumbered
Trevor, you're rolling against a 3.
and outgunned.
Let's go.
16.
Okay. Thraxenhao has won 2 rounds.
Don't have an
Fox,
aneurysm, Cleo.
right.
Hang on. That's I'm going to very slowly drag this to the center to see which number is on top because it was far enough down that it's hard to tell.
At 12.
I think it's the 12 on top. We're going to go with
I just
12.
want to say I'm currently juggling in my hand, right?
Oh, okay. Here comes the roll. Great.
This dice has been rolling high and low all night.
Thraxenhao's got to beat a
So-
12. Got to beat that
It's
12.
really a toss up.
Got to beat that 12.
It does not beat it at 12.
It didn't beat the 12. Oh no.
No,
Okay,
no.
so the fight is lost. Jake, your roll is going to determine whether Thraxenhao dies or is enslaved.
Okay.
What
I
do you
rolled.
want?
I rolled a 9.
Okay, I haven't rolled yet for
Okay.
the Aboleths. What do you guys want? Which one is worse, do you think? Probably
Uh,
enslavement is worse,
Enslaved
right?
is worse.
What-
Enslaved is
what-
worse.
Wait. Is it?
I mean,
Because
Yeah.
all it takes is a bop.
Are they
And
gonna let that
bam.
happen?
I will say it's probably
how-
a lot harder to bop a dragon's AC than it is to bop like a humanoid's AC.
Yes. I
not
agree.
for Jeb.
I'm rolling. The Aboleths rolled
I saw that
an
in that
11.
one almost.
Well, so Josh, you decide because I got a 9.
Okay, so the worst outcome happens. I think that's probably his enslavement because he
I was
has a
gonna
bunch
say,
of
well,
knowledge.
Yeah. It's up to you. I would say like the way I was thinking about it is like, well, if I rolled higher, then we decide what we think is better versus you decide what you think is worse. If you
Well, then
roll
I'm going to
higher.
decide what I think is better for the story. I think it's cooler for the story if he's enslaved.
Da, da, da.
So as you're driving away, pelting off towards Stonefield, you see the fight behind you like die down. And so you turn around, you see Thraxenhao lift his head victoriously out of the cast iron, and then you see him hop down and curl up docile like a cat at the base of the cast iron cube. And then you drive off towards Stonefield and towards whatever awaits you next. Luckily, Bruiser has successfully piloted the airship over there.
And tuned to a rod.
And attuned to a rod. And so the airship is able to successfully land. It has to use reverse thrust since the wood is buoyant. Like you're actually burning energy to get the ship down to where it's landing. But you are now able to regroup. What do you do with the cipher truck? Because it definitely doesn't fit on the airship.
It doesn't? I mean, we made this airship able to fit all the monks. And
No, you didn't, though. It's over full. I guess it's barely full because some of them stayed behind, but it's still at max capacity.
And I don't think we had time to build like a cargo bay big enough to fit the cipher truck.
Every time we take it, it feels like the fates are always wanting us to leave it behind.
But it's always been there for us.
You
and it's always come
you
true.
could split,
it
like maybe
to
you
have it
could send
follow us?
Bruiser and Gunner to take it to Geim, and then and Radford and the three. Well, Radford's probably gonna want to stay on the airship. Maybe
Yeah,
Jeb
Radford's gonna
goes
stay on
back
the
to
ship.
Geim with them.
Couldn't we
and-
just keep beeping the cipher truck and have it follow us?
No, I don't think so. At some point, you'll be out of range, like just
That's
with as
such
high
a
as
good
it flies.
idea, though. That's the best idea
just
of this
spam
entire
it.
campaign.
You
know
just
what?
spam it.
Yeah, how about this? I'll let you roll for it. If the ship owner should consider bags of holding for ballast in cases where the ship has no power but needs to land. Okay, that's a good idea, chat.
is a good
If bags of holding were working, that would be like totally ideal. All right, it was Trevor's idea, I think, right? So Trevor's gonna roll for it.
Yep.
Trevor, you need to roll a 19 or higher
Cool.
on a d20. 19 or 20.
Okay.
Because what's happening is you're stretching the range, but Elaine Mollusk is good at stuff, and like
Yeah.
maybe it'll work anyway.
Can we
That's
say
sadly a 10.
Can we say if since it didn't work, we're just like it's not working, and I'd still say we have a chance to like do something with it rather than just abandon it.
Sure.
I mean, like we said, we could split up where, I mean, me and Gunner could go, or if you want me on the airship, someone else can drive.
Bruiser should stay on the airship probably so that Trevor has a player or a character
Yeah.
to play. But if the others, if Jake and Wash, if you want to send, like, just pick one of your characters to keep playing and send the other one onto Geim with the cipher truck, that might actually be a good idea.
Yeah, Gunner will go on the cipher truck.
All right, Gunner. All right. So don't watch this bit, and you make sure you. I know I scratched it up, but like,
Don't
try
worry.
not to get it any worse.
We'll take care of it. I'm gonna go with him. It's fine.
Okay,
Fox,
thank you.
I was on this thing for like 2 months with you.
I know, but I'm not there. You know.
But
Yeah,
you made
I guess.
me do all the repairs. You acted like you worked on it.
I didn't say I worked
Yeah.
on it. I just say I love it.
In our travel time to Stonefield, Jeb has cast Fabricate and has made essentially like turned a bunch of dirt into this really soft and porous loam that he has put into a box and has the tier stashed inside of it. So it's kind of like,
Cool.
yeah.
Who is
Yep.
Sandy Loam, and why is she 100 feet below me?
And on that note, tonight's Dungeons and Dragons session comes to a close.